Good morning, Westeros.
And welcome to our Morning Throners podcast. I'm Nelson.
I'm Jeff.
I'm Kyle.
And we are your Morning Throners. And welcome back to another episode of your favorite Song of Ice and Fire podcast. We are your Morning Throners, and we have the Mystery Night, A Night of the Seven Kingdoms novella coming at you hot.
Yeah.
Gentlemen, how are we doing?
Part one.
Part one.
Yes.
Splitting it in half. This is my first gripe of the podcast. I'm sorry to get right in it. Guys, I hope you're doing okay.
You're
Nelson
allowed to.
tells us to stop at page
295.
295. Does that mean we read 295 before or after 295?
He said the bottom of 295.
Thank you, Kyle.
When I asked him just yesterday.
Yesterday it was just a number, so.
Or Saturday.
I just think it's funny because if you go back and listen, because we've recorded this Mystery Night already. We recorded it with Jeff and Glow on their first read. Kyle wasn't even there, and Jeff had the exact same gripe. It was about the point where we stopped, except Jeff was arguing that it was just a boring point. I think it's a good point. Kyle, what are your thoughts? It's right before...
He said end of 295, though, for the record. It's on digital.
All right. I digress.
Anyway, I think it's good and a bad place to stop. It's good because, it was just before he gets to go...
Yeah.
Doing before the action, so obviously that's a great kind of cliffhanger. But
Thank you, Kyle.
I'll admit I read on because I forget exactly what happened, so I read on.
Okay,
I skimmed.
This
on.
time you did.
I skimmed on. I didn't. Yeah, the first time I was loyal.
Yeah, you know already. It's not your first read, so
yeah,
as important.
And I will say, I went back and I listened to that episode. Jeff had some crazily spot on predictions. I'll say.
Well,
he pretty much just nailed the ending of the book.
For the fans that are listening to this for the first time, the first one I had no, what is the first one called?
The Hedge Knight.
The Hedge Knight. I had no clue. My predictions were so
Yeah, that was the first podcast we ever did after the show. Jeff had not read the book, so we were getting actual predictions from Jeff. You can go back and find them.
By this one, I was letting them rip. I was putting them out there.
Yeah.
Which I don't even remember what I predicted. So I'm actually maybe I'll have to go back.
We're gonna have a little spoiler section at the end of this one, so I can remind you a little bit. But I guess where did the last one leave off? What was the deal? Where did the last Duncan egg leave off? Wasn't that long ago we read it, Kyle?
Well, he was hedging for that dude. I'm gonna forget all their name. Is Eustace maybe?
Yep. Sir Eustace Osgrey.
And he is next to the lady, not Red Viper. What was her name?
Rohane Weber, the Red Widow.
Red Widow. Yeah, and there was land dispute and stuff going on.
Yep, it was all about a dam.
Yep, land dispute. He couldn't get water for his trees and all that stuff. So anyway, long story short, he fights her main knight or something in the river.
Main knight who also would have married her if she didn't find another suitor soon enough. Yes.
Yeah, so he fights him, kills him in the river.
Yep, exactly.
And then I forget what happened.
Dunk's unconscious for a while because he kind of drowned.
Yeah, and he wakes up in her castle, but I forget why he didn't end up marrying her and why Eustace did. It seemed kind of like it was headed towards Dunk was or he seemed like he liked her at least, right?
Yeah, he's just kind of too lowborn that wasn't kind of really in the cards.
And she needed it for
Well, yeah, it was the land was part of it.
Yeah,
it was
just
and she used to be in love with Eustace's son. That's who she was going to marry. And they kind of bonded over the loss of him.
Yeah,
he died during the Blackfire Rebellion. They kind of bonded over his death after.
It's mainly a marriage in terms of.
Dunk was passed out.
Exactly.
The it's in terms of the paperwork, right? It was
exactly.
Nobody was coming for her anymore. And
yeah, they both got to keep their lands. Exactly.
Yeah.
If they weren't married, he lost something. Yeah. So
go ahead, Joe.
And then you have the Blackfire part of Eustace was a rebel. Right, is that what you would call that?
Black Dragon supporter.
Yep,
exactly. Yep.
Traitor, depending on your side.
Exactly. So here, it's unclear how much time has passed. I'm guessing not that much, 6 months to a year time has passed since then. And it starts with these guys leaving Stony Sept. Anything we want to say before we kind of just jump into it?
No.
I don't think so. I think we kind of caught up.
Yep. So we're leaving Stony Sept. It seems like they had been there, right? And when they're on their way, it's hot. And when they're on the way out, they see this head on a spike. And it's the Septon that they had seen preaching against Lord Bloodraven. We didn't see this happen, but off page a few days before this, right?
Stony Sept isn't where the Red Widow was, right? Is this?
No. Arya was here for a little bit.
I was going to say, I thought Arya was at these places.
I know the location, but we haven't.
Not Dunk.
Dunk and Egg have traveled since the last one. Okay.
Yep. I do have a map. I haven't actually sent it to myself, unfortunately.
Map doesn't matter.
Let me see. Is it important?
No.
It kind of is because it's kind of where near where Brienne was last.
All right, throw it up there. Don't no timeline talk though, unless you can tell me very quickly. It's 2 months after.
I see the Stony Sept. It's to the southwest of Harrenhal.
Yes. And they're pretty much going to Harrenhal for the tourney.
Mm-hmm.
Not far. Wow, nice dot on the white walls. Is that accurate?
It's unclear. White Walls really isn't on any maps, but he has to cross a ferry at a lake, and his plan is to go past White Walls to the King's Road. They have to go past White Walls anyway to get to the King's Road to go north. So I'm guessing it's somewhere where this map shows. But yeah, Kyle was mentioning that the head, or I don't know if we lost Jeff there for a second, so we might have a little discontinuity in the edit. But we were talking about how the head makes Dunk think about his time back in Flea Bottom when, like, he had these 3 friends, Rafe, Pudding, and Ferret, who seems like the 4 of them were troublemakers. 2 of them dared one of them to steal a head, and they stole.
Yeah, that sounds pretty awful.
It's a pretty wild, like, hey, remember when story? Like,
yeah, and he's like, oh yeah, it was so funny. We used to chase the girls around. It was hilarious. I'm like, what, Dunk, man? You seem like you're better than this now, right?
can you imagine just like picking up, like just holding it? Like, they didn't put gloves on. They literally just barehanded a decaying head.
Well, and then they just tossed it in some soup at the end.
I'm guessing that they tossed that soup out and started fresh, but we've heard some bowls of brown have all kinds of meat in them, so you never know.
Gotta cook it up.
But I was saying, I guess, that this potentially not hints to, but maybe gives a little insight to whether or not Dunk is willing to lie about stuff, because he pretty much he doesn't pretty much. He tells Egg he stole it off of Spike, but in reality, he had nothing to do with it. I guess that's a little more of a white lie than lying about his knighthood.
Buddy stole it and tossed it down to him, so.
I know, but.
Yeah.
Like.
So, this Septon was, do you have your book up? The Septon was killed for preaching against Bloodraven, and there's a little quote about like what his preaching. There's like a quote of basically what he was preaching.
His hands are scarlet with brother's blood, and the blood of his young nephews too. The hunchback had declared to the crowd that had gathered in the market square. A shadow came at his command to strangle brave Prince Valar's sons in their mother's womb. Where is our young prince now? Where is his brother, sweet Materis? Where is good King Daeron gone? And fearless Baelor Breakspear? The grave has claimed them, everyone, yet he endures. This pale bird with bloody beak who perches on King Ares' shoulder and caws in his ear. The mark of hell is on his face and in his empty eye, and he has brought us drought and pestilence and murder. Rise up, I say, and remember our true king across the water. 7 gods there are, and 7 kingdoms, and the black dragon sired 7 sons. Rise up, my lords and ladies, rise up, you brave knights and sturdy yeomen, and cast down Bloodraven, that foul sorcerer, lest your children and your children's children be cursed forevermore.
Oh boy, not a family tree.
Yeah, so we showed this family tree in the last Dunk and Egg novella. Really, not much has changed to it. I've put more. He mentions here that there are 7. Daemon Blackfire sired 7 sons, so I put all of them on there. We don't actually know all their names. And the other thing they mentioned here that this preacher is preaching that's relevant to this family tree is he's saying that Bloodraven sent a shadow to strangle Prince Balar's sons in their mother's womb. Those sons that aren't actually on this family tree because they were never born, but Valar's at the bottom tier here. He's one of the green ones. Green is people who we know died during the spring sickness.
The spring sickness.
Okay.
Exactly. So Baelor, he died in the first one, right? These people died in the Great Spring Sickness. They were dead in the Sworn Sword, so I don't think any of this is new news, right? This is the same from the last Dunk and Egg book.
Yep.
Just kind of reminding everyone what the current situation is. So
Can you remind me really quickly who Maekar fought for Aeron in the melee?
Correct.
yes, Aerion, his son,
And Baelor fought for Dunk.
Yes.
Daeron. So Maegar's 2 oldest sons. Maegar and his 2 oldest sons were all fighting together because Daeron is Egg's brother who was drunk, who took Egg off and got drunk. Right.
Yeah.
So he was kind of roped into the trial because he was one of the accusers.
Right.
And he's the one that's like, I'm just going to fall over. Don't worry about me. But yeah, those 3 fought against Dunk.
And Baelor was like, yeah, they can't hit me because they're all Kingsguard.
Exactly.
But who killed Maekar?
No one.
You see how he doesn't have a circle?
Maegar's still alive. They talk about him in this. They talk about him in this story as if he's still alive.
I thought they said like the king's Maekar was a kinslayer. Are they blaming Maekar for killing Baelor? Okay.
He did kill Baelor. Yeah.
Maekar hit him.
He smashed him, yeah.
Yeah, and some of them later say he will kill his other brother Ares, who's the current king. Some people are making jokes about that he doesn't like later. So,
all right, little cleanup then. Appreciate that.
Yep, no problem. All right, back in. So we're kind of on the road.
Well, hang on. We didn't talk about that quote nearly enough. Black Shadows, or is that like the whole Red Woman stuff?
Stannis.
Definitely gives that vibe, right?
Right. Yeah. And I mean, I know we kind of talked about the Blood Raven, I think last time, about how he kind of has this weird mysticky, but is it true or not? And so here's more of it.
Yeah, they definitely talk about him a lot in this book. They talk about him a decent amount in the last one, but I think his name gets dropped a lot here. For the shadow thing, I will say it's the shadow came to strangle brave Prince Valar's sons in their mother's womb. So like the shadows we saw were killing like Renly and Courtney Penrose, like living and walking men. So this seems more just like
they're just blaming,
contributing.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. But again, I'm not saying that there's no.
Well, they even say that
there.
To Dunk later on. Somebody says that it's like, you know, you kill him and everybody will be like, oh, he was so great, but like you leave him alive and they're going to talk shit about the last guy. It's just kind of how it works, right? Like they just remember old times.
Yeah, and I think one of the through lines of this book in particular is one of the things that Maekar said to Dunk at the end of the Hedge Knight, when basically those two are talking before he takes Egg off alone. Maekar says, every time something bad happens, if there's a drought, if there's a war, they're all going to say, oh, this wouldn't have happened if Baelor was king.
Yeah.
But that Hedge Knight and his brother ended up killing him. So basically
You're at fault.
He was saying that Maekar was telling Dunk, me and you are going to get blamed for anything that ever goes wrong because Baelor's not there to make it right, basically. So I just think, again, Dunk's not getting blamed here. Maekar definitely is getting blamed a little bit for some of it, but it is like, even here, fearless Baelor Breakstore, the grave claimed them, every one, yet he endures as pale bird with bloody beak who perches on King Aerys' shoulder. I guess they're saying Blood Raven's in charge now instead of Baelor, but yeah, so. Dunk had actually seen Blood Raven one time. Another little thing about him back in the King's Landing days. The description is, white as bone were the skin and hair of Brendan Rivers. In his eye, he only had the one, the other having been lost to his half-brother Bittersteel in the Redgrass field, was red as blood. On cheek and neck, he bore the wine-stained birthmark that had given him his name. Yeah, so Dunk saw him. Kind of cool. The other thing is, Egg kind of is...
Egg's pissed. No, this is for sure. He's like, this is treason. He deserved... It's a lot of this first part is like Egg being a dragon, right? And
yeah. Like, I agree. We should have cut this guy's head off. Dunk says words are wind, and Egg says some words are wind, some words are treason. That's what these words were. Kyle?
Yeah, I mean, it's a tough position to be in because, like, I don't know enough about these guys to say if it's good or bad, I guess, right? Like, that's where it becomes nuanced and whatnot.
Right. I mean, that's like if you just take Egg and Egg's family as the protagonist, kind of like we do on the Starks, and you think the Lannisters are bad people, but you could, if it was written in there, I mean, I guess that's not true because we get their point of view too, but. Like, we don't get the Blackfire point of view, I guess, in reading this.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, we were way after most of the whole instance as well, right? Like, so we don't really know.
16 years? Is that true?
And that's what's weird is technically it happened before the Hedge Knight, but they don't mention the Blackfire stuff in the Hedge Knight at all, which I think is one of the things that probably will get changed about the show, but that's neither here nor there. So yeah, a couple of days later, they're basically just heading towards the wall, right? That's the path they're on. And they're stopping because it's hot. They're Dunk shirtless, right? They're on the side of the road, like changing clothes or something. Or no, they're going down the road, I think, and they hear people coming up behind them, right?
Yep.
They're heading to Lake Town, right?
They're heading to the inn, where the ferry is. I don't know if it's called Lake Town.
Yeah, I just called it a Lake Town. I don't know if it.
Yep. Yeah. Exactly. Yep. A little inn by a lake. Yep.
Yeah, and some horses are running, racing behind them.
Yep.
And they dunk.
They hear people coming, so they hide in the bushes.
The bushes.
Two guys go by, and then a third one comes up with a big trail of people, a couple dozen men with him. He spots Dunk, tells him to get out. We find out this guy's Gorman Peak, and Dunk, again, like I said, Dunk shirtless, got his shield on, so he doesn't look good, right? Like, this guy's calling him a brigand and stuff, and we don't like that because we like Dunk, obviously, but he does look...
He's shoddy.
He's shirtless, and this other guy's like...
he's just stealing shields left and right.
Exactly.
Well, yeah, it doesn't help that he's got that hangman. Yeah.
Yep. And to the shield, the guy accuses him. He's like, "Do you steal it off a corpse?" And he's like, "No, I bought this with good steel."
Prove it. Where's your receipt at?
Yeah. And this guy's basically giving him a hard time, and that's when the other two, the two that had ridden by, they come back. Who we got here? I don't know if we get both their names here, but I think we learn eventually.
John the Fiddler.
And?
I wrote it, I think.
Is this? No, it's not Utho. Urtho.
Alan Cockshaw.
Alan, yeah.
That's right.
Yes.
I had it right there. I was just in the wrong part of the notes. And then the third guy's Gorman.
Yes,
Peak.
Gorman Peak that John the Fiddler likes to call Gormy. I actually like that nickname.
I
Gormy.
like it too. I'd call him Gormy probably.
Yeah.
How about young Egg sticking up for Dunk too? Like when he's getting.
Yeah, like we're not brigands. We thought you were brigands. We thought you were the outlaws.
But
Yep.
we're hiding.
Yeah, and these guys all look a lot. They're all, well, I guess Cox. So John the Fiddler is a hedge knight, but he looks a little. He's a fancy ass hedge knight compared to Dunk for sure. I guess the other two are lords, right? But John the Fiddler says, "No, I'm a hedge knight, just like you."
Yeah.
There seems like there's something more to him. I don't.
John's all excited to fight Dunk and go against someone his size, and Gormy's just like, nah, screw this dude. Like, we don't want any parts of him joining our ranks.
I think it's a little more clear later, but I think there's some feelings that
Innuendo. I think there's some innuendos
that
for
John
sure.
has towards Dunk.
We want to
think-
joust when it's
Up on the roof, I think it's a little bit more clear. There's some sexual feelings from John going to Dunk. I think here it's interesting to remember.
I think I was looking too hard for like house and like past people we've met or something like that meaning to, and I might have missed all that the sexual tension.
There's one line in particular that's like,
I'm sure you're right. Where it's
hey,
like,
wink,
yeah.
wink. Do you want to
You're
joust
right.
with
Now
our
that-
swords together?
Well, and I think on a reread, even if you read this section with that in mind, like Dunk is shirtless, and he's like, "Whoa, look at," like John's like, "Look at the size of this one." Like he's kind of like, I don't know, like I think he's kind of like eyeing him up even here in this first meeting a little bit. There's
But
a
I
few
mean,
lines.
we know that people have eyed up Dunk just because of how big he
He's
is
big,
to fight
yeah,
too. Like
yeah.
it's like, oh wow, if I knock someone out your size, it'll be
Yeah.
even more impressive for me. So there is at this point, I think it was more. I took it more as fight. The second one, I was like,
Here's a quote from here. I would love to cross swords with you, sir. I have tried men of many lands and races, but never one of your size. Was your father large as well? And again, I think you could play that as just fighting, but I think after the conversation later, it becomes more of a. And I like the sword penis parallel. This guy's like, I've crossed swords with men of many races, all lands. Yeah. So. Yeah, what else is in here? Like I said, Dunk thinks of him as the Knight of the Golden Hedge. At one point, he says something in the Fiddler's tone made him want to tug his forelock. What's that mean? I googled it.
His hair.
Yeah, but what would somebody say that makes you want to tug your forelock?
I don't know, just make you nervous. Is it like biting your nails?
That was the way I got it, Joe.
I googled it. I guess this was something in Middle Ages times you would do for like someone of higher class. It was kind of like tipping your hat. I guess like tipping your hat if you didn't have a hat. Like kind of like honoring someone of higher class. So yeah, Dunk just gets the feeling that this guy is above him, kind of. And basically the Fiddler's like, why don't you come with us? Let's go to this, join our party. Let's go to this tourney. You'd fit right in. Gorman's like, we don't want this guy. And Fiddler's like, no, we do.
Come on, let him go. But I don't think Dunk really mattered, right? Because he was like, I'm not really feeling Gormy either. Gormy's got weird eyes. Alan's really cocky.
Yeah.
And something's kind of off with the Fiddler.
Well, and Dunk always just has this feeling that he's worse than other people. Like he doesn't sleep in the hedge night. He's out under the trees because he doesn't even have a tent. Now he has a tent, but it's not a big one, so they're not with the other pavilions. They're like off to the side. Here he's like, I fit more with these guys. Like there's like 24 serving men along with these guys. He's like, I fit more in line with those guys than with the actual like lords and knights here.
Exactly. He's like, they're gonna watch me set up my own tent and shit. Like they're gonna just make fun of me.
Yeah. So when Gorman's basically like, we got to get out of here. We don't have time for Dunk. Dunk doesn't argue about it. And then when the Fiddler leaves, he's like, perchance we'll meet again someday. I hope so. I'd love to try my lance on you. Which again, I think.
Yeah, that's loaded. You're right. That's fair. Like I said, I was too busy trying to figure out what house and stuff he was from.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Yeah.
Which is kind of the next part, and I kind of have a question. They start talking about a sigil that Egg says doesn't exist. Is that Gormy's sigil or
Gormy's sigil? Yeah, he has 3 castles on his shield.
But it does exist. It just got erased or they changed it.
They lost 2 of the castles, and Dunk's like, how do you lose 2 castles? And he's like, you fight for the Black Dragon. So
yeah.
Gorman was a Black Dragon supporter, right. And afterwards he had to give up some castles. So now his sigil's still 3 castles, but they only have 1. And Dunk's like, you're an idiot. The Frey, because Dunk thought it was a Frey sigil, and he's like, you're an idiot. The Freys are gray and blue, and there's no bridge.
There's towers. Duh.
I just thought it was weird that I think Egg said it doesn't exist, which it obviously does exist, but maybe all the towers in reality don't. But whatever.
Yeah, I don't know exactly the line you're talking about, but yeah.
And then we get a little story that Gormy killed Alan's nephew.
Yes.
Right, or a peak at least. Maybe it wasn't Gormy, but
yep.
Sir Arlen, you mean? So Alan is one of the guys that was here. Arlen was his old.
Yeah, sorry, I meant Arlen.
His old knight. Okay, no, you're all right. But that's why I was really confused. Yeah, no, he, Roger of Pennytree, smashed, got his head smashed in by somebody with a mace with shields. Exactly.
Yeah, with this guy, Gorman. Yeah.
Or with mace, somebody with a shield with castles, rather, is the word I was looking for.
Yes. Yeah, and basically Dunk thinks back to that battle. 16 years ago, the bastard son of King Aegon IV, named Daemon Blackfyre, had risen in revolt against his true-born brother. Daemon had used the three-headed dragon on his banners too, but he reversed the colors, as many bastards did. His revolt had ended on the red grass field, where Daemon and his twin sons died beneath a rain of Lord Bloodraven's arrows. Those rebels who survived had bent the knee and were pardoned, but some lords lost land, some titles, some gold. All gave hostages to ensure future loyalty. Yeah, and then that's when he's like, oh shit, I know who this guy is. He's the one who killed the guy whose place I took. Arlen's nephew and squire. Yep. And eventually Dunk asks about Lord Butterwell. He's like, Egg, what do you know about this Butterwell guy who's hosting this wedding in Torney?
Yeah, before we go on, I do want to clarify. I think there's a different sigil that was on. I don't know whose sigil this was. 2 fiddles and 2 swords across in Grail.
That's John the Fiddler.
Oh, and that's the one that didn't exist. All right, so
Yeah.
Gormy's does exist. John the Fiddler's does not.
And I think Dunk's like, that makes sense because they don't keep Hedge Knights sigils and rolls of arms.
Yeah, so we're riding up on Butterwell's land, and
Well, he asks Egg, what do you know about Butterwell?
no, he's a craven.
He's pretty much just a Frey.
Well, he's marrying a Frey now because his other wife.
I know, but he's pretty much did what the phrase did, where it's like, I'm just going to show up late, play both sides, come out ahead.
Yep. So in the rebellion, he sent a son on each side. Both died, and his third son died during the Great Stern sickness, which is why he has neither son now. Dunk says some would call what he did there prudent, sending a son on each side so he came out on top. Egg says that Maekar would call it cowardly or something. Maekar is not about
Craven.
that. Yeah. That's why he's getting married now.
Yeah. I was going to say, this is like a horrible place for these two to be heading.
What, north or to White Walls?
No, to this Butterwell dude's house, right? Like, it's like we'll get there later, but it's like, it's definitely a Black Dragon meetup.
A trader's tourney.
That's what Egg says.
Yeah.
I mean, it really is. That's not what Egg says.
If I asked you where all these houses fight, you don't know. You wouldn't be able to tell me where most of them fought. So how do you know?
What do you mean, though? That's
Besides Egg said.
Yeah, but that's how you find out how things happen in a story.
Yeah, but I'm on Dunk's side. I'm not buying
Dunk
it
wants to go make some coin, make some
Yeah,
bread.
we're here to get rich. It doesn't matter who these families are. That's all said and done with. Water under the bridge.
All I need to do is win 2 fights.
Water under the bridge.
Yeah.
It's not how that works, though.
So we get to the inn, and the ferry had already crossed for the last time. It got too dark. What was I'm going to take the guy's name down. That was
Nate, I think.
Ned. Probably Edard. JK. Ned didn't want to take it back unless it was full moon. He doesn't go at night. So they kind of get to a spot where they can maybe feed the horses, get them some water, and Dunk goes and talks to the innkeep.
Yep.
She wasn't having any part of Dunk or Egg. No, there's only lords.
Yeah, what do you got for food? And she tells him the food, and then he's like, ooh, we'll have some of that. And can we sleep in your stables? And she's like, stables are for horses. Get the fuck out of here. No food for you either. So
Go by the stump. Get your ass out to the stump.
there's Hedge Knights by the stumps. Yep. And they go find him. Egg has been soaking his feet. He's like, get the salt beef out. Soak that. That's what's for dinner. Egg's not happy about it.
How bad is salt beef? Like it can't be jerky because like
it's
you can
very
eat
hard
jerky. Like
Yeah.
it's much harder that you have to. Like he soaked it and it became jerky.
Yeah.
Like he tried to
Essentially,
hydrate it and it became jerky.
Yes.
Like that's wild.
Yeah.
Super dehydrated, yeah.
Like it's got to be like rancid. It can't. I mean, obviously not, but like on the verge of like dry age, like shit that people cut off of dry.
That's true.
age.
Yeah, it's probably closer to that, I guess. I've never actually had that like straight up, but
I've just seen people like cut off the decaying looking parts of it to get to the good meats.
Yep.
Yeah.
So they go to find these Hedge Knights, and they find them in a kind of a cool spot. The trees opened up, and they found themselves in what must once have been a weirwood grove. Only a ring of white stumps and a tangle of bone-pale roots remained to show where the trees had stood, where the children of the forest ruled in Westeros. So they're in this like weird, old, cut-down weirwood grove. I feel like this is a similar spot to where Arya met with that weird Ghost of High Heart. You know who I'm talking about when I say that?
Wasn't that on top of a hill though?
Yeah, but there was also a grove of weirwood stumps there, I think. Like 13
Yeah,
or...
I think you're right.
I feel like we got the number or something. So, yeah, they're sitting there. 2 guys by a fire sharing some wine. A third one, a little bit younger, off by himself. They do their introductions. The 2 guys by the fire, we learn are Kyle the cat. Kyle. What do you think about this?
Kyle.
Name in the books.
Yeah, it's I I'm proud to be in there.
The cat too. The cat
Oh,
missed
the
him
cat.
more.
Yeah, this guy seems like a bitch later, right? He's someone that's like, yeah, I'm trying to just fall. So
Or throw.
Is that him?
Yeah,
Yeah.
he threw.
Yeah.
He threw hard.
He's just trying to get hired.
Mm-hmm.
He almost threw too
Kiss
hard
some
that
ass.
like you can't hire that guy.
Yeah.
Yeah. We'll see.
And they got Glendon Ball, right?
Glenny Balls.
He doesn't speak up right away. He's the sullen one off off to the side. Yep. Maynard Plum is the other one that is sitting by the fire. So we got Kyle and Maynard sitting by the fire and Glendon off to the side. When they introduce, Egg asks if Maynard is kin to Viserys Plum.
Egg got all fired up. He knew that name.
Well, I mean, it's got to be Viserys is like, it feels at least like a Targaryen name.
We've heard that kind of a joke about a Plum before who he had a cock 6 feet long because he died of like a burst heart on his wedding night. So I thought the joke was that he got her pregnant from across the room, but I think one of you guys said it was probably because he got her pregnant from 6 feet deep because he was already dead. So that's why he has a cock 6 foot long. But I think one of the people with Dany, one of the new sellswords she has is a Plum, I think told the story. And I think we also heard part of it from Tyrion. Well, Viserys Plum is the son that came out of that pregnancy. I think the thought is if Plum wasn't the one who got the wife pregnant, it was a Targaryen, Aegon the Fourth,
Okay.
the one who has bastards with everybody. Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
So that's why Egg, I think, is probably familiar with this because the mom was a Targaryen, but the supposed father is also a Targaryen. So Viserys Plum is potentially not a Plum at all. Yeah.
And like, if this guy was related to him, that would make him like Egg's great uncle or something.
Yeah, related to Egg, basically.
Second cousin.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't follow the line. But yeah, so they all get together and they pretty much share a meal. They do what hedge knights do. They all bring a little something to the potluck.
Yep. Someone's got onions, someone's got pickled and eggs. Pickled and eggs doesn't seem like an easy thing to travel around with, and I also don't know how long that lasts.
Pickles and egg or a pickled egg?
It's pickled eggs.
Pickled eggs and something else.
It's like a red
Onions.
and
meat egg.
onions. Yeah. You got to keep like a jar with.
I'm sure they have jars. Don't you think?
How long does that last too? I don't know. Like, does it?
For
It's
a
in
while.
vinegar. You think it would
Pickles.
last longer? Pickles probably last longer than cucumbers.
Yeah, but if you leave it in vinegar, doesn't it get like more and more pickled over time to a point where it's no good anymore? I don't know how that works.
I like that. My mom's red beet eggs sit in the red beet egg juice
Forever.
till they're done.
Yeah, but that's like a day. That's like 2 or 3 days. That's not like weeks like of a hedge knight's life.
It's
Dude,
weeks.
Pickles sit in a pickle jar till you eat.
I guess
all
you're
the
right.
pickles.
Yes, you're right. Pickles last. Yeah, you're right. I guess I'm an idiot. I don't know how that works. All right, moving on.
That's point of pickle and stuff.
But they shared some wine, and Maynard's talking about how I took it as basically how greedy he is. Like he just is all about his making money.
Who? Maynard?
Maynard was talking about Butterwell.
Oh, yeah, Butterwell. He used to be the Hand of the King. He was the Master of Coin, and then he was the Hand of the King, right? Very rich, supposed to have the best wine. Basically, they're saying it's going to be a good feast at the very least. Got all his money from cows. Fraser no better. This is a marriage of thieves and toll collectors. So, bunch of coin clinkers, which is what Kyle was saying earlier. It's kind of like the same thing on both sides. Like newer families that are basically just rich because of the bridge is collecting tolls, and the other one is get a gallon of milk.
Just selling milk.
Yeah.
Well, and like it's very easy to steal cattle. I think is kind of what they're pointing out here, right? Like you can just kind of go out and amass
Gotcha.
cattle if you're the bigger. That's what they're trying to say, at least, is that these guys are.
Okay. That's why I say thieves. Yep.
And he's also just marrying this Frey girl to keep his name alive, right? Like he has both of his sons died on the red grass field,
Yep.
Butterwell, so he needs to make some new sons.
Yeah.
Mm.
And this is where Glendon pipes up for the first time, I think. And he's like, the warrior hates cravens. He's pretty young. Dunk thinks he's no more than 18, probably closer to 16. Got an angry look to him. And Dunk's like, how long have you been a knight? And he says, almost half a year. He was knighted by Sir Morgan Dunstable, and 24 people witnessed this. He's like, but I've been training for knighthood my whole life. I'm going to win the dragon's egg. And Dunk's like, whoa, there's a dragon's egg? That's the prize for this tournament? So Dunk's like, how'd Butterwell get his hands on a dragon's egg?
Yeah. What? That valuable thing?
Well, it's because Arion showed up, right, and banged his kids.
Not Arion, Aegon the Fourth.
Aegon the Unworthy.
Aegon. I'm sorry. I'm
Yeah.
sorry.
Sorry, all the names don't matter.
Begged his this was his grandfather's. This was
Okay.
2 generations ago, but yes.
Yeah, he showed up, got one of them pregnant, maybe, and felt a little guilty, it seemed, the next day, and was like, just giving him stuff.
Yeah, he gave him the egg. He gave him the egg for sleeping with the maiden daughters. Yep.
Oh, yeah, that's right. It was 2 of them or something. It wasn't it just a one.
There might have been 3. Yeah.
I think it was,
it was
3.
It was way too many. Yeah.
And they were all
Yep.
pregnant. They all got pregnant.
Bastards, yep.
Yeah, and it was like his prized maidens. Yeah, exactly. And then
Exactly.
But we learned what Kyle's looking for, and Kyle really wants to go serve the Bitterbridge house, and he had some ties to it. He gave the young lord his first wooden sword back in the day. He wants to rekindle that connection.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude's shooting quite the long shot here. He's kind of like Asha in like he's got like this huge elaborate plan that hinges on like this old sword or something that like
It was a wooden sword when the kid was 3. The kid,
I know.
You don't remember that
Don't
shit.
remember that.
That's
No way.
exactly what I'm saying,
Yeah.
right? That's my point. Is like he's like, oh yeah, this is gonna be perfect. I'm gonna be going home with him. I'm gonna be working for him. Like my life's set. Like this is great.
It does imply later that he fought and saved his father's life in the Redgrass field, though. Now, like that's something you might remember more than like, hey, the guy that saved my dad's life over the guy that made me a sword out of pine.
Only if the story is true and it was told to the
And
kid.
is his father still around?
Yeah, would have had to tell him exactly. And there's also like Dunk doesn't believe some of these. They're talking about shit about Aegon the Fourth. There, he's like, if half these stories were true, we'd all be bastards of Aegon.
Who's to say we're not?
Yeah, who says that? Maynard's like,
Maynard,
maybe we are. Yeah. So
Yeah. So Dunk tells him like, yeah, we're headed north. We're planning to help the Stark fight off the Greyjoys, and
exactly.
Kyle, the shit talker that Kyle's are, is just like, at least the Starks should do something. Maybe you want to go out to Lannisport or Castle Rock. The Lannisters are trying to fight too. You can
Try to fight back. Yeah.
Targaryens ain't doing shit.
Yeah.
It's all Bloodraven's fault.
Exactly. Aerys just sitting around reading books. Rhaegal prances around naked. Maekar broods at Summerhall. Brendan Rivers is behind it all. The Hand does nothing.
Oh, and that pissed Egg off bad. He's coming for Kyle.
Maynard seems practical. Well, again, I don't know. Maybe he should be doing something. But Maynard's like, Bloodraven's busy with Tyrosh. Like, there's other. We got bigger fish to fry. Aegor Rivers, Bittersteel sits in exile, plotting.
We can't let them cross the narrow sea.
Maynard is like the only one that doesn't seem to. Well, I guess. Yeah, I mean, most people don't like. It does, and it's not clear that he doesn't like him. But here is the only like one piece of thing that like Bloodraven might be doing that makes sense. And again, it's been a while. Maybe this doesn't make sense. Maybe you're a little obsessed with could this rebellion come back type thing. But you know what I mean? That does seem. If it was, I guess, closer in time, that seems like it seems reasonable. If it was closer in time,
Prudent. It's prudent. I mean, you got all these people still hiding their flags and stuff. Like,
yeah. Like what we saw in the last Duncan Egg, there's people who still seem loyal. Like Eustace would have hopped right up if there was if somebody come back. Yeah.
We're even seeing it in the new series, right? Like, I mean, at least the Targaryen stuff. Like, didn't some of these people have banners and stuff in their basement and things like that?
Yep.
We touched on a little bit for sure. Where it's like this is, I don't know. It seems like it goes away, but it's still
Loyalties linger.
very active, and that's really kind of. It seems like they're walking into, like I said, this kind of rebel meetup that's under the guise of a marriage.
Well, which is what we saw, potentially what we saw with like kind of Littlefinger. That's what I was thinking. Is like we saw Littlefinger at the end of Feast of Crows had that like marriage that he was off at, right? That's why he wasn't around. And we're like, what's the point of this? And it just seemed like basically he was gathering all the lords in the Eyrie that weren't. Remember the 7 lords that come up against him the chapter before? He basically was gathering all the lords that were on his side at that wedding is what it kind of was the implications there. So
planning location. Yeah.
It's
under the
similar
cover
potentially.
of.
yeah.
Yep.
So then we get into Kyle telling a story about fighting, and I'm pretty sure he called the Blackfires traitors during this.
Yeah, this is when he says, I saved Armin Caswell's life from the traitors.
Which Glenny Balls took. I love calling him Glenny Balls. Just
Barstool guy.
Barstool guy. Who's not a Barstool.
Glendon Ball. Yeah.
Glenny Balls took offense to that because his dad fought for the Black Dragons.
Yeah, exactly. Right before we get into that, who is it? I think Kyle's the one that says, before long, Aerys is weak and he's going to die soon, and then there's going to be a war between Bloodraven and Maekar, right? And I think in here Dunk's happy because they start talking shit on Maekar a little bit. Basically, they're saying Maekar and Bloodraven, the Hand and Egg's dad, are going to start fighting over it. And Maynard's like, you're crazy. Like, first off, Egg's dad isn't even up next. It's Rhaegal.
Maekar's planning on killing everybody.
Well, I think he also says he's feeble-minded, right? Rhaegal's feeble-minded. And he was one that they said earlier dances around naked. And his twins are as good as dead. So it seems like Rhaegal is next up. And he also has twins who would, the implication is here, Maekar or Bloodraven or both would kill the twins to be somehow next in line.
There's no implication. He straight says that. He says, though whether they will die of Maker's mace or Bloodraven spills.
Like Bloodraven killing them doesn't make him like Makar killing them would put him closer in line. Bloodraven isn't in line, right? Like
unless he's a vessel for somebody trying to get closer.
That's what I was going to say. Is he could be using,
but he's already hand, right?
He's hand, and he was very anti Blackfire before. So like it's not like he would be killing people so Blackfires can come back. That doesn't really make sense based off what we know.
And he's got the highest kind of position he could have.
Yeah, exactly. You're right. Glendon is upset. He's like, who you calling traitors? When Kyle says, I saved this guy from the traitors. And like you said, my dad fought for the Blackfires. And Dunk's like, oh shit, not this again. Like we had a whole story about
heroes
this.
Blood in me.
Yeah.
I got a whole second story about people fighting for the Blackfires.
And he says, I'm Fireball son, or Egg says that.
Holy shit, you're Fireball son?
Because he shows in the sigil, and Egg's like, you're Fireball son, right? Which is just Egg knowing all the story. And obviously, like, Fireball was related to the Targaryens. So, not related, but dealt with them. Like, I think he was the master at arms for Egg's dad, right? I think we hear.
Yeah, he was he was training both sides of them back in the day.
Yeah, before
redheaded, fiery guy, little,
yep.
Competitive attitude. I guess you would
and
say.
Kyle's like, Kyle looks at Glendon. He's like, how could you be Fireball son? Like, he died. And Glendon's like, he died before I was born, but in me, he lives again. And he slammed a sword in his scabbard and says, I'll show you guys at White Walls.
And kind of went off to pout again by himself.
Yeah, and that's the end of that combo. Kyle, any thoughts on this guy? I forget exactly what we hear about him throughout the rest of the part one.
I want to say it's a little weird that that Dunk or Egg rather seems like so enamored by Fireball son, because like it didn't Fireball, isn't he said to have kind of pushed Blackfire into rebellion?
Yes. We hear why though, right?
Maybe, I don't remember.
We'll get there then. I don't think we have yet, so if we do, we'll get there.
But I guess kind of what I'm saying is like the interaction a little bit is still strange. Like Egg doesn't seem super pissed about kind of the traitorship, but then he does when they start talking stuff. But like he's kind of willing to hang out with them all.
And to that point, Glendon seems pro Blackfire because he basically gets mad at what Jeff said when Kyle calls them the traitors. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the next day they go to the inn, waiting for the ferry. Their other lord, the Lord Costain and Lord Shawnee, we heard about earlier, they got to cross first. While they wait, they talk about the Egg, and I think Egg says something about. Oh no, Egg says both those lords were rebel lords. They both fought for the Black Dragon, and he's like, I remember me and Aemon used to play the battle out with like toy soldiers on Maester Malaquin's table, which is just cool. Just picturing Egg and Aemon, our boy Maester Aemon, rest in peace, playing army men on the table. Exactly. Yeah, he's still in the barrel. And he's telling them where they were in the battle and all that stuff. And he's like, that's all history. They bent the knee. Don't worry about it. Oh, yeah. Dunk says, stay away from Maynard. He gives me a weird feeling. And Egg's like, oh, you think he's going to steal the dragon's egg? And he's like, no, I'm sure it'll be well guarded.
We could always go back and see where my egg's at. All me and my brothers have them.
Exactly. Yeah. And at first, Dunk's like, don't fuck with me. Like, don't troll me. I'm going to smack you. And he's like, no, I'm serious. We got him.
And like, of course, you rich people just had dragon eggs in your cradle growing up.
So he tells them what they look like.
Yeah, I think this is kind of cool, Nels, because I think it's kind of...
I don't think they match Danny's. If that's what you're getting at. No.
I don't know about that.
I don't think they do.
One's creamy and gold, and one's green and...
Gold and silver with veins of fire running through it. Mine was white and green. It's green and yellow and white and gold.
Well, how about the third egg?
The third one that he picks up later is all red with black specks. We'll get to it.
Okay.
We had the same conversation in the first one because Egg thought it was Danny's eggs too.
Egg did or Glow?
Egg thought it was Danny's eggs.
Glow did. Sorry.
I know. Yeah. You just called Glow Egg. That's the best part. Yeah.
Glow is kind of like Egg though.
Yeah, the bald fuck. Yeah.
All right, so he asks about Glendon. He's like, tell me more about this guy. What do you know about him?
Yeah. Here we go. Read this quote, Kyle. Yep.
Why did they call him Fireball? For his hot head and red hair. Sir Quentin Ball was a master at arms at the Red Keep. He taught my father and my uncles how to fight. The great bastards, too. King Aegon promised to raise him to the Kingsguard, so Fireball made his wife join the Silent Sisters. Only by the time a place came open, King Aegon was dead, and King Daeron named Sir Willem Wilde instead. That's right, I forgot about this. My father says that it was Fireball as much as Bittersteel who convinced Daemon Blackfire to claim the crown and rescued him when Daeron sent the Kingsguard to arrest him. Later on, Fireball
Yeah,
killed...
you can stop there. He does a bunch of cool stuff in the rebellion. Kills the great...
Lord Lefford.
Yeah.
Sent the Grey Line running back into the rock.
Crossed into the Mander, killed some sons of Penrose, blah, 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 blah. Yeah, exactly.
Did some cool stuff during the war. Boy was fighting.
The point there is he was promised a seat in the Kingsguard by Aegon IV, so he made his wife join the Silent Sisters.
Wild move.
But then when the seat came open, Aegon IV was dead, and his son, Daeron, the Trueborn, right, the rightful king, the Targaryen one, said, no, sorry, I'm giving it to this other. It's unclear what Daeron was aware of, but you think if the Master at Arms was quitting, you had to have, I don't know. It's unclear why he might have done that, but yeah.
Well, the Silence, like Kingsguard, like he can't have a wife. So is that what the whole Silent Sisters thing is about? Like,
I gotta be ready for the Kingsguard. So he sends his wife off to where she can't talk anymore. Yeah.
Gotta get rid of her somehow.
Yeah, so that would probably piss you off if you lost your spot there. So Dunk's like, did this guy die on the Redgrass field? And Egg's like, no, just some random archer when he was riding on the road one day, shot him. And Dunk's like...
Through the neck, through the jugular too, which is a rough way to go.
Yep, through his throat when he dismounted to have a drink. Just some common man, no one knows who. And then Dunk says, those common men can be dangerous when they get it in their heads to start slaying lords and heroes.
I like that line.
Just a cool lesson, I think. Like, yeah, anyone can die anywhere, right? Yeah. So they finally go. They're like, yep, let's go they decide they're going to go. Egg's like, fuck, this is a bad idea. You are not prepared for this. But they're there. Now we get to the feast.
All sorts of people come piling in. Yeah.
Nice castle, lots of money. Just cool white rock coming down from somewhere. From the Vale, which was dope. That's kind of cool. Long way. Glendon wasn't allowed in at first.
Exactly. Yeah.
Which is, we don't know why, but some guy named Pym comes up and whispers in his ear later, and he gets in.
Well, they don't believe him is a lot of it, right? Like, they're like, Fireball didn't have a son. You don't actually belong here. Like, your story's bullshit. It was the why, I think.
And Egg didn't get to come in either. No squires allowed.
Yep, they're out in the yard.
Dunk getting some attention from the girls. Big dog.
Yep, they're looking at him.
No, so do you imagine if this was like true till to this day, just like the taller you are,
I mean, I feel like that's a thing, right? That girls want like people over 6 foot tall.
Well, they definitely do want.
It's never helped me. I can say that I could tell I benefited from my height in the dating game. I know, yeah. But again, it's theoretically it's still a thing. I'm not a direct benefit of it.
It probably is a thing until
it's not the only thing. It's not the only thing. There's some other stuff.
I have enough going against me that the height doesn't outweigh it. Yeah.
The fact that you will never say we're back. All right. Yeah, but
that sounded like
girls are scary. I'm like Dunk. Dunk's scared of girls too. Where's my tan cell? All right, they're at the feast.
There's talk of they just started talking about who we about to take in the list, like what's going to happen there.
Well, but Dunk has some dumb takes here too, where he's like, "Oh, if they knew who Egg was, they'd put him up front." And I feel like none of these people would like Egg.
Well, if it is a traitors tournament, yes.
That's kind of the end of my prediction here. Yeah, it's like,
okay.
Like, but I mean, we'll get to the full of it. That
if you were undercover though, like you'd have to keep Egg kind of happy till.
I know, but like he said, oh, I got you. They might have to pretend they don't.
Yeah.
Yes, I got you.
Yeah.
Like, oh, Vader's here. Like, oh yeah, we love you, Vader. Right?
Oh.
Like, yeah, the
you
rebellion
can ride in our ship.
Yeah, you can have the head table. I got you.
So all about talk of who we're getting the list. Another cat that joins the convo, Hedge Knight, is Uther Underleaf.
Turns out to be Dunk's opponent.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Dunk's like, shit, I just want to melee. Like, is there any chance we're just going to fight? Like, can we just fight each other?
Let's get the axes out here.
And I think Egg already told him, like, at a wedding? No way, dude.
Yeah.
And
too brutal.
After that, Butterwell and Frey girl, the new wife, make their entrance. And we got a long toast session. Frey gives one first.
Before the toast, we have Lord Frey comes in, and the daughter is the wife, and he has a son with him, who's a 4-year-old little boy, who Dunk is like, this little boy is annoying as fuck.
Little snotty little kid. Is this the Frey? Walder?
Future Lord Walder Frey, mastermind of the Red Wedding, is this little snotty 4-year-old kid here that Dunk thinks is annoying as shit.
It didn't seem close enough, but he is old.
At one point, Dunk considers throwing him into a well. Just imagine if Dunk would have just killed this boy.
The butterfly, is that butterfly effect?
Exactly, yes.
Go back in time and
Yeah.
kill Walter Frey.
Yep. So just a cool little, obviously, crossover that you don't get many. You pretty much get, I think in all of the Duncan eggs, you get Maester Aemon mentioned. And
The only old enough ones, yeah.
And you get Walter. Walter, exactly. Yep. So yeah, all the lords and stuff come in, and then I think we get some toast, Jeff.
Yeah. So I think it's old man Frey at the time. Frey Lord starts it off.
Yeah.
And at some point he toasts to Bloodraven, and a lot of people don't toast to that. They Glendon even dunks his out. And
Dunk looks around and says about half the room dumps theirs out to Bloodraven.
Yeah.
But they all do drink to the king.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So.
But that goes kind of to what Jeff was saying earlier, where you can't be openly like, fuck the king, right? It's a little easier to say it about Bloodraven.
You could say fuck the hand, but fuck the king is treason, right?
Yeah. It's pretty blatant. Yeah.
And then there was a bunch more toasts. I didn't write them all down. If you have the names, I didn't. They just kept toasting each other and toasting this person's health and that and a rain and a blah blah blah. And
Lord Tully, who was the liege lord but wasn't at the wedding. Leo Longthorn, who is said to be sick. The memory of the gallant dead, Dunk thinks he will gladly drink to them. I don't really understand that line. And then John the Fiddler proposed a final toast to my brave. Why does Dunk think that he will gladly drink to the gallant dead? I guess I
just honor the dead.
Who is that referring to, and why is Dunk more about that than the rest of them?
I can just honor the dead. He's just down to honor the dead, is what it sounds like.
Okay. And then John the Fiddler proposed a final toast to my brave brothers. I know that they are smiling tonight. And Dunk was pretty drunk by after the toast. There's a line here I love. Dunk thinks, I think he got it from Arlen, never refuse a cup of wine or a horn of ale, Sir Arlen had once told him. It may be a year before you see another. So Dunk's like,
keep them coming, baby.
Just accepting every time they come around for another round. Dunk's like, yeah, of course. Might be a year. Might be another year. No, Dunk, it's going to be 5 minutes till your next one, but whatever.
Shit take, yeah. It's
get it in while you can. Make hay while the sun shines.
He's got work to do tomorrow.
Well, yeah. The night before a tourney, you got to be thinking about that. That's
probably he's got like everything riding on.
Just his whole life, his whole knighthood.
Yep. That's just the lords being smart, getting all the hedge knights drunk. So they bring out some food, lots of food. At one point, I think it's funny, there's cheese that he thinks smells as strong as Bennis the Brown, which is just our friend from the last one. Not really a friend, he was a dickhead, but Egg's eating good. Dunk's eating good. He's wondering how Egg's doing. Takes a little half of chicken and some bread and cheese for Egg in case he didn't get food later. There's musicians playing, and then Sir Uther Underleaf kind of goes through some of the competition, saying like who he thinks will be the most formidable. He says Sir Franklin Frey, pretty good, well known around here. Lucas Nayland has come down from Hagsmire's pretty good. Sir Mortifor Brog's pretty good. And then the local heroes, Kirby Prim, Galtrey the Green, and Tom Heddle Black Tom, who is the best of the three, and Lord Ambrose's son-in-law. A nasty bit of business, that one. He won the hand of his lordship's eldest daughter by killing 3 of her other suitors, it is said, and once unhorsed the Lord of Castle Rock. So, pretty good.
Some big stories about these people, yeah.
Yep.
And is this when John the Fiddler joins them?
Yes.
Yeah. I don't have much on him. I just know he comes here at this point.
Yeah, I think he comes up and then pretty quickly Dunk goes to take a leak, right?
Dunk's got to go pee-pee.
Yeah.
He wanted to get outside. He needed some fresh air. He was getting drunk. And need to send Egg to get his name on the list. Need to go.
Yeah. John, one thing I have about him is he's dressed fancy. John, he's wearing like a silver and amethyst necklace that Dunk thinks is worth more than everything he owns. To be fair, that's not saying much for Dunk.
And as a hedge knight, like, is he the richest hedge knight ever?
Yeah. So we didn't talk about it much in this one, but when I was listening to our first podcast on this, I did remember I actually did all the math for his currency exchange because Egg does mention how much they have. He spends a third of all their money on the ferry. So like Lily Dunk, they had like 100 silvers and it cost like 30 to get across the ferry. So they are very, very low on money. Like if he sold his armor and horse, yes, he could get some money probably, but like in terms of cash money they have on hand, they got nothing basically.
Well, if he loses all this, he's done. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. And he thinks that a few times, but so yes, compared to what John the Fiddler has, it's not that. I guess my point is you don't need that much to be more than you basically need to be wearing a necklace more than a horse, worth more than a horse to be. But yeah.
All right. So Dunk goes out to pee, or he goes out and he stops to pee, and then while he's in the bush, he hears a familiar voice and another one talking about bitter steel. And I kind of summed up this conversation too, Nelson. Do you have the details of it all? But
it's a short quote. We can
you want to read it?
Yeah, I say we just read it. And the only thing that we missed is before Dunk goes to piss, they pull out the wedding, and then there's all the birds. And Kyle and Maynard have this short like back and forth.
The wedding pie.
Like, the different number of birds is for different sorts of things in a marriage. I didn't have anything on that, just in case you guys did.
Okay.
But yeah, so two voices. We do hear Dunk kind of finds out later who the second one is, right? Do you know, Kyle? We know the first one because they say it in the conversation. One of them's Gormand.
Well, this the other one seemed like the guy that came and yelled at him about the egg later. Is that?
Yeah, I think that's what he says. And I think we know who that is.
When we get there, I don't remember offhand.
I don't either. But you can be that one, who's the first voice. And Jeff, you can be Gorman, who's the next one.
Beggar's feast you've laid before us, without bitter steel.
Bitter steel be buggered.
Insisted a familiar voice.
No bastard can be trusted, not even him. A few victories will bring him over the water fast enough.
Lord Peak. Dunk held his breath and his piss.
Easier to speak of victories than win them.
This speaker had a deeper voice than Peak, the bass rumble with an angry edge to it.
Old Milkblood expected the boy to have it, and so will all the rest. Glib words and charm cannot make up for that.
The dragon would. The prince insists the egg will hatch. He dreamed it, just as he once dreamed his brother's dead. A living dragon will win us all the swords that we would want.
A dragon is one thing, a dream's another. I promise you, Bloodraven is not off dreaming. We need a warrior, not a dreamer. Is the boy his father's son?
Just do your part as promised, and let me concern myself with that. Once we have Butterwell's gold and the swords of House Frey, Harrenhal will follow, then the Brackens. Arthur knows he cannot hope to stand.
Yep, and then the voices fade away, and Dunk's like, who are they talking about? The boy his father's son, and wonders if they're talking about Glendon and Fireball.
I think he's right, actually. That's who I got out of this. I might as well answer it here. It seems like they kind of have Glendon put up to something here where he's supposed to kill who? I'm not quite sure off just yet.
Okay.
But that's where it feels like that's the plot, is that they're trying to use him to kind of start some other things.
Cool. Sounds good. All right. So Dunk goes back in.
Wine's still flowing. People are partying, getting drunk.
Weird thing. Question for you guys. The two songs here are songs we've heard multiple times, I think, in the main series.
Bear the Bear, the Maiden Fair.
Bear the Bear, the Maiden Fair, and the Two Hearts That Beat as one.
Yeah, well, I feel like that's on purpose, right?
Sure. My question is, in the real world, that seems unrealistic. Maybe it's more so in the old. Like, I don't know. Do I know a single song from 100 years ago besides, like, I don't know, is Happy Birthday?
100 years ago? Silent Night?
Well, that's it. This is like, well, I guess it's not a wedding song.
Ave Maria?
Well, like, yeah, maybe the Wedding March.
Ave Maria?
Two Hearts That Beat as one is definitely a wedding song.
Are you not listening to me?
Yeah, I hear you.
I don't know if I know what that is.
Ave Maria.
Okay, that sounds familiar. Is that 100 years old?
It has to be.
Latin, I would assume it is.
Is that what is that? Like a funeral or church song or something?
Sounds like an opera or something.
Yeah.
It's what they sing in Step Brothers.
Gotcha. I don't know if I knew that, but okay.
Does he sing it? Is that when he has the voice of an angel?
Composed 1825.
I don't think it.
It's 200 years old.
It might not be Step Brothers. I can't remember what he sings in the.
Ole,
It's definitely not what he sings at the Catalina. It's not what he sings at the Catalina wine maker.
Oh, then what are you talking about?
I was trying to think when he was like, I can sing. I can't remember what song he sings when.
No,
he first
that's
sings.
a normal song. That's like with lyrics. Yeah, that's not.
Oh, people are talking.
Talking
Talking about
people. Yeah, that's that one. So a combination of Fergie and Jesus.
Well, then that song that he sings at the Catalina wine mixer is probably also 100 years old.
Yeah, okay.
Especially now, you're going like 1925. You definitely know some weird song from 1924.
Yeah, I guess you're right. Doesn't really matter one way or the other, but
You brought it up.
I know.
All right, so people partying, getting drunk, and he's like just like you do when you get drunk, you start thinking about the ones you lost.
Yeah, he's feeling about the girls, the ladies, Tansel and
Especially when
Rowan
you're
Weber.
solo at the party, when you're single at the dance.
Yep. Well, and I think all the other knights started talking about their ladies, and just starts thinking about the ones that got away. Yep.
The old Tansel Too Tall and the Red Widow.
And then a bunch of dwarfs come out, comic dwarfs. You need them at a wedding, right?
Can't have a wedding without him. Joffrey.
the Red Wedding or Sansa's wedding. Well, unless you count Tyrion as a comic for Sansa's wedding, but Joffrey's wedding had him for sure. And yeah, so they have all these pig bladders that they have inflated. They're hitting people with, and they're making funny noises. And the little Frey boy, Walder, takes one of them, and Dunk thinks the child had the most irritating laugh Dunk had ever heard, a high, shrill hiccup of a laugh that made him want to take the boy over a knee or throw him down a well. If he hits me with that bladder, I may do it. And then Maynard tells him that Walder is actually kind of the reason for this marriage. And the fiddler is like, how so? And Maynard kind of explains. What's he say?
He caught him. Well, he chased his sister, followed his sister as she was sneaking down to do some stuff with a kitchen boy, right?
Mm-hmm. Found her fucking a kitchen boy down in the kitchen or something like that. Exactly. There's like jokes about
he screamed. Everybody showed up.
It's all covered in flour.
Yeah, having flour on her. I think this is potentially weird. Like, why? I think there's a line in there about like Dunk thinks like, why would a lord?
Why would he wed a girl who'd been soiled by a kitchen scullion and give away his dragon egg to mark the match?
Yeah, and I don't know if I have a good answer for this.
I'm glad to hear that, because I was worried I was really missing something, and I'm like, man, I fucking need to understand why Butterwell is just dumping his loot.
Besides just that he's old, even put the egg aside, just the marriage itself seems slightly odd, like unbalanced. Like these houses seem on level playing ground, so like he should take I don't know, a girl that's not has this reputation, unsullied. I don't know.
Maybe a not 15-year-old is the other option.
Well, yeah. Yeah, again, I'm just assuming that there's just like 50 girls to choose from because that's how it is. That's how the Frey family is in our time. This might be the only daughter. It might be just a good enough answer. True. So, yeah. Shouldn't think about it that way. But, yeah, doesn't really matter.
Walder is still 4.
Yeah. So they start doing the betting, right? Somebody's taking her, carrying the girl out, but he's kind of drunk. So the fiddler's like, Dunk, have the giant carry her. So Dunk carries her up. He's kind of getting aroused from it, but he gets her up there, throws her in bed, and as soon as he does, a dwarf jumps in, grabs her by the boobies. He pulls the doors off and goes to throw the dwarf out the door, and that's when he sees the dragon's egg.
Like the idiot he is, he fucking gets distracted and picks it up.
Yeah. Like, who the fuck do you think you are, Dunk? Like, this is definitely a no-go. Picks it up, looks cool. I think it's red with black specks, right?
Fine red scales covered its surface, shining bright as jewels. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah. I'll pull back my objection.
And then he gets scolded. He recognized the voice of the man he heard talking to Gorman Peak. I actually don't know if he gives his name.
Yeah, he does. It was him, the man with Peak. Yeah.
Yeah, but we still don't know the name who that is, right?
No.
Yeah. Okay. Dunk just apologizes and gets out of there, but Lord Butterwell's now being brought up by all the ladies, so he goes up instead of down and ends up on the roof.
Which is, again, another strange thing. Like, he's like, oh, I'm just going to go upstairs to the penthouse suite here to this other place I probably shouldn't be.
I don't know. I feel like going on the roof's not crossing too. The roof of the Lord's chamber. I don't know. It could be crossing some boundaries.
Feels like he doesn't belong here.
Going on a roof drunk is just not the smartest decision either.
Well, that too. Yeah.
As soon as he gets up there, everything's spinning. He thinks he shouldn't have touched the dragon's egg. The dragon at the first tournament's where all the trouble started with Tansel's puppet dragon. And then he gets feeling guilty, thinking about all the men who died for him. Who remembers? I don't think either of you guys are going to give me all three. I'll take first names.
Baylor.
Baylor's one of them.
We all knew Baylor. The Laughing Storm.
Lived.
I'm just trying to...
Who else fought for him?
There's the other Fossway, the Red Fossway.
Did he die?
No, I think he lived.
So who else fought?
There's... How many did we... That's 3. There's 3 guys we haven't said. Well, Dunk.
And Dunk.
And Dunk. 3 and Dunk.
So that's still 3, right? Isn't it 7-on-7 or is it 6-on-6?
Was there another Fossway?
No. On the other side there was.
There was two people, like 2 family members, right, that did. Or like...
Not in the same family.
All right. I think we've...
Humphrey Harding and Humphrey Beesbury.
2 Humphreys.
2 Humphreys, yes. Jeff was on the track. They had the same name, but they had the same first name.
He was never getting to Humphrey for what that's worth. Sorry, Jeff.
Or those last names.
So yeah, eventually John the Fiddler comes up, right? And this is where I think there's some sexual advances being made.
Yeah, no, this line is...
This whole scene, right?
Yeah, I mean, he like talks about how he dreamed of him being a Kingsguard, and like
he was trying to kiss him.
He was trying to kiss him. There's a part where he was massaging his shoulder.
You're this beautiful person. Yeah.
He's talking about how, at first he comes out and he's talking about how the castle looks good. And he's talking about, like, have you ever been north? And Dunk's like, no, I'm going there. Like, what are you talking about? And he's like, John says, I'm trying to get away from Alan Cockshaw. It gets a little tiresome when he drinks. And he says, I dreamed of you, Sir Duncan, before I even met you. When I saw you on the road, I knew your face at once. It was as if we were old friends. And Dunk's like, oh, fuck. This happened before. Daron, Egg's brother, did this, right? I dreamed of you. That was the whole thing at Ashford. And Dunk's like, what sort of dream? What's our boy say here, Kyle?
Dreamed of you in all white, from head to heel, with a long pale cloak flowing from those broad shoulders. White sword, sworn brother of the King's Guard, greatest knight ever, and you live for no other purpose but to guard and serve and please your king.
He put a hand on Dunk's shoulder.
You have dreamed the same dream, I know you have.
Yep. So that's where I just said that, because that's where he puts his hand on the shoulder, and Dunk's like, yeah, but everyone has dreamed that. But so, Kyle, I guess let's stop here. What do you think about this dream?
What do you mean? I guess it seems
We've had some dragonish dreams before. Break it down.
it seems flattery. I guess is what I'm saying.
Okay, but we have a character named Jaime Lannister who's read this book called the White Book, right? And in there, there's this guy named Sir Duncan the Tall who becomes a Kingsguard.
Oh, I didn't remember. I don't remember. I'm sorry, man. That part. It was
What?
That was a long time ago. I forgot he made it.
Maybe that's a spoiler, but we definitely knew
It's
that.
not a spoiler. Yeah, no, it's not a spoiler. It's been a little bit since he was in the book.
Yeah,
and we read that. I
but
forgot.
so
he made
Dunk
it.
becomes a Kingsguard. So I think that makes this dream very
Did he not
interesting.
know this? Kyle knew this.
He somehow forgot.
I knew
he
this.
definitely knew
I
this.
knew
He somehow
this. I'm just
forgot.
an idiot. Yeah. It's been a while, man. There's a lot that happens.
There's a lot in the books, yeah. But yeah, I think that's part, and nobody loves Duncan like I do, so I get that nobody remembers all of it. But yeah,
and it was
I think
like
that makes this
one
interesting.
chapter in Jamie's story. He like read a book. You're right. It is interesting because it did tie back to our dude that we know. But I forgot.
It's more than one. I think we've heard like Dunk like 8 or so times in the main series. Again,
Okay.
that's 8 out of like 300 chapters isn't a ton, but yeah, we've heard that he's mentioned as a Kingsguard more than once.
So that's pretty interesting that John called that out. Then I guess.
Yeah.
I mean, we knew that was Dunk's kind of quest all along anyway. And especially, I guess it makes sense because he's like Egg's best friend and all that. Like, he has connections now.
I just think it's interesting because
Does that lead to something else about like Egg's future? I guess.
Well, we know Egg's future too.
Did Kyle know that? I didn't know. All right. Anything's on the table.
I knew
now
that because it was on the back of the book. Remember when I said future
yeah,
king?
that's true. Yeah, it spoiled it before he even started the first one. Yeah.
Yeah.
So Dunk's like, yeah, but only a king can make a Kingsguard. And John's like, well, I guess I'm gonna have to be king then. Dunk's not thinking maybe I don't even want to be a Kingsguard. He's thinking of Tansel. The reason I brought up the dream is because he says, I hope you put more. Basically, Dunk's mocking him, saying your dream will never come true. And he's like, I hope you put more faith in me after the dragon hatches. And Dunk's like, wait, you're saying a dragon's gonna hatch here? And then he says, I dreamed it. This pale white castle, a dragon bursting from an egg. I dreamed it all, just as I once dreamed of my brothers lying dead. They were 12 and I was only 7, so they laughed at me and died. I'm 22 now, and I trust my dreams. So I think the dream parts are interesting because if the first one's true, could this one also be true, right?
All dreams are true.
Well, then this second one would be, to me, and I guess I'm kind of reading a little bit into it from the first story, right? Where somebody, I think they talk about it here, where it was like it's right here. Dream to you as a dead dragon, Daron told Egg. Wings so large could cover the meadow. So is it the egg hatching could be Egg, essentially his cover getting blown as
Egg Dunk's egg.
Yes.
Okay.
And he then is essentially the dragon that appears here.
Gotcha. Okay.
Prediction time.
I like it.
Mm.
And yeah, so in that first one, that dragon that died and fell on Dunk, that ended up being Baelor. Because when Baelor comes over at the end of the tournament, he does fall and Dunk catches him in his arms. Yeah. Dunk's basically like, I gotta get out of here. I'm drunk. I don't know what the fuck you're talking about.
You're talking big shit, man.
Yeah. And Dunk's like, I'm drunk as a dog. And the fiddler says, you should be my dog. Again, I think you're getting into with the fiddler, you know what I mean? Putting the moves on.
Your sword. What do you want from me? Your sword. Nelson liked that line.
Yeah, exactly.
And then there's another one later on where it was like,
the night is alive with promises. We can howl together and wake the very gods. That's what he says when he says, you can be my dog.
yeah. And then when they get interrupted by a couple guys, two guys in Gormy.
Yep. Gourmet. What are you doing in my bedchamber? John thinks they're in his bed chamber. He's like, you're on the fucking roof, bro. That's what Gourmet says. You got to joust tomorrow. Kirby Pym can be formidable. He's like, I want to joust with Duncan here.
That was the first one. Like,
Yeah,
I want to
that's a good one. Yeah.
Yeah. So he gets escorted out, right? John does, and then it's just Gorman and Dunk, right? Does Dunk puke on his feet at the beginning or the end of this conversation?
At the end, it's like the last thing that
it's
happens.
It's like the middle, because I think Dunk has one more word that he kind of comes back one more time after the puke. Like,
okay.
Oh, okay.
I just think he says one more thing.
So he's like, did your mother never teach you not to reach your hand in the dragon's mouth? And Dunk's like, I didn't know my mom. And he's like, what did he promise you? And Dunk says, a lordship, a white cloak, and big blue wings. Because at one point, Dunk's like, I'm as likely to sprout big blue wings and fly as I am to become a Kingsguard.
Yeah. Then he pukes.
Well, Gorman says, I promise to give you a sword through the belly if you ever speak of what just happened. And then he pukes. Yep.
He's like, you have no place here. No true knight will be discourteous as turn up uninvited, but you creatures of the hedge. And then bam, Dunk comes back.
Yep. Are wanted nowhere and turn up everywhere. And he's like, just remember what I said or you're fucked.
Yeah.
Well, and this kind of points into more behind the whole John story as well, because like he's supposedly a hedge knight and Gormy doesn't hate him nearly as much.
Yeah, he's like, him and Gormy are boys. Him, Gormy, and Alan are the ones that we saw coming up together.
Yeah. So who were they talking about earlier as having dreams? At dinner, somebody was talking about a dream, I think.
The people outside that Dunk overheard were talking about a dream that you and Jeff read the quote for.
Yeah. And who was in the dream?
Gorman said, the prince insists the egg will hatch. He dreamed it just as he once dreamed his brother's dead. A living dragon will win us all the swords that we would want.
Yeah. Yeah. See, I feel like Egg would recognize if that was his brother or somebody, John, that is. If Egg would recognize John if it was somebody, but he still seems like yeah, he's out of place, right? I mean, in Egg or Dunk has said that pretty much every time he sees him. It's like, this dude is dressed way too nicely.
Well, and Dunk is just, you gotta love him because he's like, something confusing is going on here. I best just forget it all and just move on. That's always his thought. It's never like, I should think about this. It's always like, I should just forget it and move on. So yeah, that's kind of what happens here. He goes back down, right? Maynard's the only one left.
Has one more sip of wine. Is like, nope,
I'm done.
It's like when you crack the last beer and you're like, I shouldn't have done that.
It's too late. Yeah. So he goes back to find Egg.
Egg's chilling in the tent. He's parked his tent a little bit further away than other people, but the horses are chilling.
Yeah, because his isn't as fancy. He doesn't want to embarrass himself.
And but he's done his job. The horses are chilling. The armor's neatly stacked, and he's inside, readed by candlelight, just seeing a scroll of arms.
Yep. And Egg says Lord Sunderland is here, and how Sunderland. The odd thing about them is it seems that they're from far away, right? They're from the Bight, which is kind of far away. It's kind of like from up north.
Waves to get here.
Yeah. Yeah, that seems like kind of what we're talking about here. We hear that the place that they're from, the Three Sisters, is some islands, and it's not a nice place. Sinks of sin and avarice, and has one of the worst smuggling dens in all Westeros. Dunk asks him if he's hungry. He says no. This is where Egg's basically like, this is a traitor's tourney, right? He fought this guy, Lord Sunderland, fought for the Black Dragon, and Dunk's like, so did Eustace. He wasn't so bad. You remember him. Yep. And he tells Egg he saw the dragon's egg. He asks if Bloodraven has one. Egg says no because he's baseborn, and Dunk's like, no, he's not baseborn. He's bastardborn. Making a distinction, baseborn means your parents aren't noble. At least one of your parents isn't noble, where Bloodraven, both of his were. So he's a bastard, but not base. And then we see a fat lip, right? Egg's got a fat lip. He got into a fight. And Dunk's like, what's the deal? What'd you do? I told you to shut up. It's not
We're talking shit on Dad.
Talk back. I mean, the joke on Dad is kind of funny, I think, this one. He said they're talking shit on Maekar. They're calling him a kinslayer, and Dunk thinks, like, well, he is a kinslayer. He didn't say this to Egg, but he's like, he did, even though he didn't intend it. And Egg says something like, Egg had spoken back and said, like, I told him that he didn't kill Baelor, he loved him. And one of the other squires was like, yeah, he loved him to death, just the way he plans to love his other brother, Aerys, who's the current king. Basically saying that Maekar's going to kill him too. And that's when, I think it's kind of a funny joke, but Egg did not. Egg hit him, and hit him good.
Sometimes you got to punch somebody. All right, so next morning, or?
Well, pretty much he goes through the list of things with Egg. Yeah, he's like, you're supposed to fucking listen to me. You're not supposed to be blowing your cover.
Egg was like, this is a traitor's tourney.
Exactly. Even so, doesn't matter. Long time ago, Black Dragon's dead. Those who fought for him dead or pardoned.
Move on, kid.
Yeah, exactly. Move on, Egg. We're good.
Yeah, but Dunk's such an idiot here because it's like, you like move on, but these people obviously have not moved on.
Or is it just too big of a coincidence of everybody?
Exactly.
Yeah. Also, you'd have to think some of that is locally. Well, again, here we're saying Sunderland's
But
from
they're
far away.
traveling.
This one's from far away.
Yeah, we had some people come far away. Yeah.
So yeah, exactly. Dunk's like, okay, it's almost bedtime, but before bed, go enter me in the tournament and enter me as the gallows knight. We're going in as a mystery knight. First off, dude, you're 7 feet tall. It's not a mystery. Anyone who's at the feast,
yeah, and
knows,
you carried the bride up to the room. Yeah, like you were pretty prominent. Yeah,
especially at Ashford Meadows when you had a huge extra joust just to see if you should live or die.
Yeah. Well, and that's why he wants to do this, right? Because there's a few times here where he's like, this is the most like high lords and knights I've been around since Ashford. I don't want people to know who I am. So that's part of why he wants to be the mystery knight. But exactly, you're not hiding from anybody, buddy.
Yep.
All right,
So
and then the next day we're just getting ready for
Dunk wakes up, it's hot as hell. He's also hungover. Not good. Not a good combo.
Yeah, that sucks.
The jousting's already begun, right? Like Jancy could have slept through he's not that far away from.
Well, it seems like this section picks up like in the middle. He's already there. He's just waiting for his turn. Okay. I don't think he's like rushing over, but it's unclear.
Yeah. All right. So he's watching hungover, and he's just trying to recall the night, like talking to John, being the betting, the whole deal. He's just kind of running it back. And first joust is going on, and the fray beats Page.
Yep. Sir Harbert Page versus Sir Franklin Frey. 4 passes. Next
up is old Glendon Ball, the young fireball. Didn't like his intro.
Yep, versus Sir Argrave the Defiant. They call him Sir Glendon Flowers, Knight of the Pussy Willows. Laughter followed. Glendon didn't like it.
Dunk's trying to figure out why they called him.
Yeah, so he's like, wait, so he's a bastard? Right? Because Glendon Flowers is a bastard's name from the Reach. So Dunk's like, wait, he's a Flowers, and he doesn't understand the Pussy Willows part. Egg's like, I can find out, sir. And Dunk's like, no, it doesn't matter. It's none of our business.
Not our beef.
And they get ready to go. And as they get ready, that's when Dunk starts getting ready for himself. He's like, go get my armor. He puts on his helmet, tells Egg to go do something, right?
Well, Egg one last time tries to talk him out of it, right? Like, yo, you can still bail. Like, you don't have to do this.
Yeah, you might be in over your head, yeah.
Especially now that you're drunk or hungover. Probably still drunk.
Yeah, and Dunk's like, look who I'm fighting. Sir Uther Underleaf, he's 10 years older than me and half my size. Like, I'm fine. Like,
got this guy.
We got lucky in the drawing of straws. Yeah.
Yeah. We just need to win 1. 1 is okay. 2 would be great.
1 we're even. Exactly. 2 we're up.
Yeah.
Just remind me again. You lose everything you got.
Lose your armor and your horse, yeah.
You just lose what you brought, or do you lose?
No, if you win 1, you get the
that
other
person's
stuff.
But then you lose your second. You don't lose
then
everything.
You can give them your armor, their armor and horse, probably, right?
Assume everyone's stuff is worth $100. If I beat you, Jeff, I take your $100. But then if Kyle beats me, I owe him $100, so I'm back to even. Because I did basically the 100 I won from you, I have to give to him.
All right, but let's just say I'm a better knight and my shit is worth $500. So I just give you my helmet?
No, I get all of that.
That's what I'm saying.
So that does play into it, but that's not what Dunk's not considering that in his math.
But he's like, I just need to win 2. Well, if you win 2, that means you go and do a third.
Like to your point, if Dunk beats John, he should just like quit there because John's
necklace. Are you allowed to tap out?
No, probably not.
Probably not.
Like yeah.
But he's not going to wear John's stuff in his next tilt. So if he loses, he's losing his $100 stuff, and he's keeping John's $1,000 stuff.
Okay. I didn't know if like it was like poker. Like you just keep bringing. Like, can you put your chips in your pocket, or like if you go to a casino and you put your chips out, right? That's what Dunk's doing, and you win. Like you could put some chips away in your pocket, like so you can stash it. He's stashing a little bit of his winnings each time.
Realistically, I don't think it's very often you take someone else's armor because that armor is like custom fitted for them, especially for like lords and stuff. So I think the way this would actually work,
you ransom it back to them.
Yeah, you immediately ransom it back. But your point still stands that if someone has armor worth more than another person, then yes, you can win more than you're risking. Basically, if you go in with worse stuff. Yeah.
All right, Glendon won.
Glendon wins. He struck Argive in the breastplate so hard it broke the saddle strap. The saddle attaching the saddle to the horse, and both the knight and the saddle
good strike
came off together onto the ground. Yeah,
he fucked him up.
I don't know if that's crazy or not, but it sounded crazy to me. So yeah, then up next is Joffrey Caswell versus Kyle the Cat. Kyle got the match he wanted. He got his boy.
The guy from Bitter Bridge.
My time to shine, he says, and he's like, and Dunk's like, yeah, go kick his ass, and he's like, oh no.
We're trying to lose here.
Quite the opposite, Dunk.
Yeah.
Taking a flop.
I can't wait to lose this guy.
Yeah, and Dunk's like, well, good fortune. Or bad fortune, I guess, if that's what you want. So
and Caswell just can't even sit on his horse. He was drunk in the wine last night, right?
Yeah, he was passed out in a puddle the night before. So Dunk thinks this guy's at least one of the guys drunker or more hungover than him. But yeah, Kyle throws, falls in the mud, and Joffrey's like pumping the lance in the air. Dunk says like you'd think he beat Leo Longthorn or the Laughing. Like this guy's pretending like he just beat a huge hero and he beat a guy who was throwing. So Dunk gets ready for his joust, right? Gets handed up his shield, the Hangsman's shield. They call his name. Egg gives him the lance. He thinks about, I got to win 2. And then I think we're getting ready. So I told you how to stop, right?
Him and Uther the snail. Uther the snail.
Yep.
How can a guy be quick when he's a snail? Egg gives him one last little like, hey, he's going to be pretty quick. He's like, come on, look at this sigil.
Yeah, the one weird thing here is I think it's one of the very last lines I told you guys to read. Dunk wonders if the masters of the games was matching heads knights against each other, so no lord need lose to a hedge knight right away.
Embarrassingly, yeah.
What was the round just before this one?
Caswell.
A lord versus a hedge knight.
Yeah, Lord Caswell versus Kyle the Cat the hedge knight.
You got to mix in a lord every now and again.
Caswell would have lost and been embarrassed by Kyle if Kyle wasn't throwing. So
the first fight was 2 names too, Paige and Frey. They were lords.
Yeah, but that's the point.
Yeah. Well, lords versus lords and hedge knights versus hedge knights, like Glendon Flowers and the other one.
Maybe the Kyle the Cat has a little bit more juice around the hedge.
I just think Dunk's dumb. Dunk's dumb. Wasn't thinking about it, but whatever.
No, I think he's probably right though. I think they probably, and especially if they're trying to set this up so that this Glendon ball kills somebody, like in jousting, they're probably tried to kind of
get him to the right guy.
Put the bracket in a way that he would make it there, right?
Gotcha. Okay.
I don't know. That's what I see. It also feels like this John the Fiddler. I mean, he could also be the bastard, and I wanted to see the family tree again, if possible.
Sure.
Oh, we're going back to the tree.
Yeah, because I'm trying to see who he could belong to, but because it feels like he is something to do with Bittersteel. Bittersteel is Rivers.
Bittersteel is Aegor Rivers.
Aegor Rivers. Does he have kids?
He doesn't, but he was like the right-hand man to Daemon Blackfire.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, I thought he was related to him, John the Fiddler, but maybe not. Maybe he still seems like he could be somebody that was kind of placed by him.
Yeah, for sure.
But I don't know who it is offhand.
Man, the tree is it's complicated.
Yeah. I was going to say the answer's probably right there, but it's also hidden, if that makes sense, because the tree is so fucking complicated. But yeah, so
I'm thinking that I will not point out moments, but
that's fair. I think Dunk's in for it. I don't know that he's going to lose outright, but I think Egg is going to have to either pull the boot or.
So what happens in this tilt? He's literally about feet in the stirrups, about to ride out.
I mean, we're only about halfway, right? So I feel like he has to win the first one, but
And what's the last line is? You read all the way to the page. I just want to make sure, again, we all kind of stopped at the same spot.
End of 295. That's where I
End of 295.
1 foot at a time. That was the old man always said. Sir Uther is all that should concern me. Which is just a Matt LaFleur, head coach of the Packers quote. I mean, I feel like just a football. One week at a time. Hey, what do you think about this game 2 weeks ahead? We just got to be 1-0 this week. Just got to be 1-0 this week.
Oh.
1-0 this week.
You know why I think it was a bad ending now? Because this time I read to 297. I'm right in the middle of the deal.
The other thing about 295 is I think page-wise, it is dead middle. I think it's exactly 55 pages on either end. So
yeah,
I'm sure that's what I did is I just split right to the middle. I'm like, yeah, it works. It shows ahead as a stop.
Yeah.
All right, cool.
Yeah, I don't know what happens with him and Uthor. He can't lose, I don't think, outright.
He's got a fucking snail on his shield.
I don't think that's going to play into it. Yeah.
Loser sigil.
I wish I had an idea, a good idea. I mean, like I said, I feel like maybe he loses and Egg has to pull the boot, and maybe that is what happens, and then just kind of shit sets off from there, and they become, kind of exiles or things. Because there was already a couple people, well, one person at least, that threatened to kill Dunk so far. So Gormy, right, said, "I'll put this sword in your gut if you don't forget what happened up here."
If you say anything, yeah.
So I mean, it's gonna be pop off when that happens.
Yeah, cool. Well, we'll see.
But we know Egg and Dunk get out of here alive. That's all I got to say for sure, right?
Yeah, they might die.
Yeah, and then come back and
It's not unheard of, Derek.
Yeah, I know.
All right. Well, we'll see. We'll find out the next one, but we will hang on to Jeff for just a little bit to have a short little spoiler section for this guy. See Kyle in the next one. See the rest of you guys in the spoiler section. Bye, Kyle.
Later, nerds.
Spoiler alert! Spoiler alert! Spoiler alert! Spoiler alert!
Bye,
Bye,
Kyle.
Kyle. Thanks for hanging out with us. See you on the next one for Mystery Night Part 2.
Now in the spoiler section. Jeff, you wanted to do this because you said there was a lot of spoilery stuff to talk about. So what do you got for us?
What?
Yeah, this was the other way around. I obviously wanted to talk about the spoilers.
All right, let's talk about the people first. Or I'm sorry.
That's pretty much all I have to talk about is hints of the people. So the one thing I want to mention before that is I forget where I heard this originally, and I didn't even remember it when I was writing notes down until you guys mentioned it. When they're doing the toast and they toast to the king and everyone toasts,
Yeah.
they toast across the table and there's like a jug of water in the table. And I think this was a thing in real history where they were toasting across the water, like above the water, as a symbol that they're not actually toasting the king. They're toasting the king across
on the other side of the river.
Exactly. And I think
Or
that's
the
like a real
narrow sea.
thing from history somewhere. I don't know the specifics
Maybe
on
in
it,
like
but
England, maybe there was another king in like hiding out in France, and they wanted him in England.
I don't even know
or
how
something like that.
I hope we don't have too many like England, Scotland, Ireland viewers because I don't even know what islands.
I mean, I'm just saying, like that would be like England is.
But is England and Ireland on the same island? Is Scotland the only separate one?
No. Scotland is a part of England. That's why I said France
Yeah, but England.
is a part of Great Britain.
Those
And
three, Ireland, Scotland, and Great Britain, are two islands between the three of them, right? Correct?
I don't think so. I think they're all connected. I think it's just one big island.
See, I think that's wrong. I think just think about Braveheart.
We could just look at a map.
Yeah, but let's.
I never saw Braveheart.
That's crazy. You'd love it. We got to record that reaction someday. Are you looking at a map?
I'm googling it.
I think Scotland's on its own island, and Ireland and England on their same.
Yeah. Okay.
Is that accurate? I'm like not very confident about that.
Scotland is connected to England.
And Ireland's on its own island.
Ireland.
Does that make sense?
Yes. All right. So Ireland and North Ireland are its own island.
And then Scotland and England are connected on the same
Correct.
landmass. Gotcha. Okay. Yeah. Okay. That makes sense.
But yeah, so I guess that could be true too. But like France is right there next to.
Yeah. So I'm just thinking like maybe it was like they were toasting to the one in Ireland, and they were on.
Sure.
Yeah. You know what I'm talking about.
Oh
Yeah, or I guess you're talking about, or on the mainland too, and they're toasting to someone in England, is what you're saying. Yeah, that's true. They could do that too.
Yeah, right, sure.
So I just thought it was cool. Again, I don't know how much that is true. I feel like I heard that or read that on a forum somewhere, but I did not back it up. It reminded me when you guys were talking about the toast in this one. So
That's actually a pretty cool deal.
yeah,
I like that fact if it's true.
yeah. So I guess first off, what do you think about Kyle's predictions?
I thought he was pretty good. Like Egg is coming out. Well, that's the thing about the dreams is like you stop taking them literally and you start thinking about like, all right, how is it going to show its face right now? Like we knew a dragon wasn't going to hatch, right? But
That's true.
the only other thing, like, it's good that he got Egg, right? Because I forget why Egg needs to use his boot.
Because Dunk loses and he's not a knight anymore. So Egg just tries to use his boot to send a letter to his dad to like get help. Like, hey, send him a new horse. Basically, pretty much is like because Egg.
But then they capture him. They capture him after that, right? I remember Egg getting captured.
Yeah, because Egg has, even though Egg's saying it's a traitor's tourney, he's not acting like it, and because immediately Butterwell's like, "Oh fuck, why were you sent here?" And Egg's like, "Yeah, I was fucking sent here." Well, he's scared at first. He tells Dunk, I remember something Lord Bloodraven had said, that it's better to be frightening than frightened. So instead of like being scared, I was like, yeah, I was fucking sent here by Maekar, and he's on his fucking way.
Yeah, what the fuck y'all doing?
Yeah, and then Butterwell like got fucking scared. Exactly, that's pretty much what happened with Egg. So he does use his boot and hatch, and Dunk realizes that at the end of the story. He like looks at Egg I think Dunk, Egg, and Bloodraven are all talking. Bloodraven shows up with the army.
All right, so run it through. John the Fiddler is the Blackfire that's come over.
Yes.
So he was right on that, right? I don't know if
he ever said that. I think he was more implying that John the Fiddler was related to Egg, more like somehow like in Egg's family tree.
Well, he pointed out the river guy, right?
Then he said he thought he was Bittersteel, one of Bittersteel's children, but Bittersteel doesn't have any children. And then he said maybe he's just somebody that Bittersteel brought over, which is true. He is somebody that Bittersteel brought over. But the big important part is he's Daemon Blackfire's son.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's on the right path. That there's
Bittersteel.
I'd say Kyle's 80% right on his John prediction.
Bittersteel wasn't the king, though, right?
No, Bittersteel. There was 3 important great bastards: Bloodraven, Daemon Blackfire, who's the rebel.
Yeah, who got the sword and ran the deal, and Bittersteel was like his right hand man.
Right hand man, and almost more like it seems like Daemon Blackfire didn't have the ambition to rebel. It was almost more like Bittersteel, like, yo, dude, it should be you. It should be you.
You got
for
the
real.
sword. Let's go get this.
Yeah, why else would he give you? Yeah, that's kind of the vibe. At least I get. I don't know if other people would agree with me. That's how I see it. Is Bittersteel is pushing it more, and then Bittersteel becomes known as the leader of the Golden Company because he founds the Golden Company.
But why couldn't Bittersteel be the next king? Why does it need to be this? Because are they following the line of secession? Like Daemon died, so we need to give it to John the Fiddler.
I would say I don't know if it's clear spelled out anywhere. My answer would be Daemon Blackfire. Both his parents. We can pull up the family tree again real quick. Both his parents are Targaryens, whereas the other great bastards, their parents are Blackwood and Bracken. Blackwood and Bracken. So if you look at the family tree, Daemon Blackfire, if you follow that dotted line up to his parents, it's actually Aegon and Dana. And I don't have Dana's parents on here, but she's a Targaryen. I don't have her parents on here because I think it becomes spoilery for you for House of the Dragon stuff of who some of these people's parents are.
I can't follow. Tell me where we're starting.
Very top right.
Very top right. Daemon.
Aegon the Fourth and Dana.
Yes. Okay. And then it goes down into the left.
Yep. That's Daemon Blackfire. And your question is why can't Aegor Rivers, who's 2 squares to the right? Okay. Why can't he? It's because
Daemon's got some kids.
Daemon's got kids. Well, Aegor's, even before that, it's because look at his parents. Aegor's parents is a Bracken. Daemon's parents are both Targaryen.
Okay.
That would be my answer. Again, I don't know if that's the right answer, but that would be my answer to you. I'd be interested to see what other people say.
I'm just saying, if Bittersteel has the support, why couldn't Bittersteel just grab the sword and rock and roll?
I think you're right, too. That's possible. I think also, I think it's hard to claim the sword is important if you're going Bittersteel, because Bittersteel was never given it. I think if you go Daemon and then his sons, you can kind of claim that it was kept on being given.
Yeah, I gotcha.
But yeah, so that's who John is, and we'll have some things that point that out. I think a lot of those we'll be able to show to Kyle, too. Any hints to this we'll be able to show to Kyle because that comes out. The things that we won't be able to show to Kyle, even after the next book, I think we'll be able to tell Kyle that Maynard is Bloodraven, but we won't be able to show him all the hints because a lot of the hints involve knowing what we know about Bloodraven with him meeting Bran. And that's what I think a lot of what I'm going to mention to you right now. And I think you'll see what I mean in a few of these. So
okay.
First one, I just
do we know if Daemon II likes boys? Does he like guys?
Yes. Yeah. And him and Alan Cockshaw have a thing, and then John kind of like leaves Alan for Dunk.
Okay.
Like has interest in Dunk over Alan, and that's what Alan paid Uthor to kill Dunk because of this. Alan is surprised. Alan tries to shove Dunk down a well in the second half of this book because of it. So.
Oh wow! I'm excited. I forget some of these.
Yeah. So
the plot.
So this one is a John the Fiddler quote. John the Fiddler paid the older man no mind. I would love to cross swords with you, sir. I've tried men of many lands, races, but never one of your size. Was your father large as well? I never knew my father. I'm sad to hear it. Mine own sire was taken from me too soon. John says this to Dunk. His own father is Daemon, who died on the Redgrass field.
Yeah, I was trying to make sense of the line where he talks about his 2 brothers being dead, but I couldn't do the.
So Daemon died with his 2 sons on the Redgrass field.
Yeah. Okay. And then he's 20 and 2, but it could have been like my 2 brothers died in the sickness, right? Or like
exactly. But I'm gonna pull this up one more time in the family tree one more time. Show with you. When Kyle's like, I'm sure there's something on here that's a clue. I would say the big clue again. Just look at the far left here. Daemon Blackfire and his children. 2 children dead. And
yeah, but then you got 2 with question marks like that. That throws it off.
Yeah. So this Daemon II Blackfire. That's John the Fiddler. This 3rd child.
Right.
And there's a part when he toasts to his 2 dead brothers. there's the part when two people that Dunk overhears when they're pissing say that he dreamt of a dragon egg hatching just as he dreamt of his two brothers dying. And then on the roof, John the Fiddler tells Dunk, I dreamt of the dragon egg hatching just as I dreamt of my two brothers dying.
So that's kind of the link between the two of them.
Exactly. And I think it's very hard to make connections just based off words, but if you look at this, I think you could potentially narrow in on, okay, two Blackfire brothers are dead and kind of make a guess on who John is. Again, I don't think it's easy, but so the Fiddler is trying to get Dunk to join right away, right? And again, I think it's in hindsight when you know that there's a rebellion getting set up here. It seems like Kyle knew that. He's unclear on who it's centered around, I guess.
Which makes sense.
Which I guess is part of what you're saying is he's right. Because it seems like Glendon is possible too, and you weren't sure on who it was either in your prediction. What you predicted really well, I thought, was you said Egg is going to be the egg that hatches, and you think Makar was going to show up with a huge army and just basically ruin the whatever was going on here. But you weren't exactly clear on what the pieces that were going on here were. And Makar doesn't show up with a huge army, but Bloodraven does.
Yeah, because Bloodraven's already here.
Yeah, exactly, as Maynard Plum, and we'll get into some of those.
I feel like, Kyle, when you explained the Plum background,
how good is that?
It's good, and I thought he would have maybe he would have thought. My other thing is how good of a disguise is Bloodraven wearing? Varys level disguise of that he can.
I think it's a glamour, Melisandre level disguise.
Okay,
yeah,
because it's got to be pretty good for Egg not to recognize him, right?
Bloodraven has one eye. Hey, this guy doesn't.
Yeah, so he glamored a second eye. That's wild.
He glamored a whole look.
Yeah.
So say Melisandre.
I know glamour is a thing, but I don't know if I like that.
Yeah, I don't know either.
He
has the moonstone brooch.
Okay.
No ruby, but people say it's a moonstone brooch. There is a part in the second half when Dunk sees a hooded figure with one eye, and then as the figure gets closer, the eye. Dunk realizes it's made out of plum, and what he thought was the eye was just the moonstone brooch clasping his cloak. So
yeah, all right. A lot of moon. There's some moon talk here too, and some the trees too, like the stumps and whatnot.
The stumps, exactly. I like how they come upon Maynard Plum, who we find out is Bloodraven, in this weirwood grove with weirwood roots in the ground, and that's where Bran finds him too. But yeah, talking about the plum thing. So the quote is: Egg says, "Plum, are you kin of Lord Varys Plum?" Maynard says distantly, right? So this is Bloodraven talking distantly,
right. Which is actually true, right?
Yes, Bloodraven himself is kin to Viserys Plum.
Yeah. There's a little bit of truth in every lie, right? And this isn't even a lie.
So I figured this out. Bloodraven and Viserys Plum are second cousins.
Okay.
Period. That's for sure.
Yeah.
That's if Ossifer Plum is the father. But again, like I said, there's this whole joke that Ossifer Plum had to have a
that
sixth.
It could be.
So it's probably Aegon the Fourth who's the father instead.
Bloodraven's father is Aegon the Fourth.
Exactly. So if the rumor is true, which it probably is, they're not only second cousins, they are also half brothers. In addition to second brothers.
It gets nasty.
So it's hilarious that when Egg says, "Are you kid to Viserys Plum?" It's that's my brother. Literally, that's my brother. So, but then Maynard says distantly, though I doubt his lordship would admit to it. One might say, "Is he of the sweet plums, while I am of the sour," which is just kind of funny.
One more thing, is there a plum out by Danny?
Yeah, he's the one where we heard the story about the 6 foot because he says
Brown Ben Plum.
Yeah, because he says I have a drop of dragon's blood in me because I came from this line.
Okay. I'm sorry, I missed that.
No, you're good. So the next one is when they're talking about how they got the dragon egg, and Kyle explains that by morning all three had royal bastards in their bellies, talking about the daughters of Butterwell. And Dunk says, "I've heard such talk before."
Do we know any of those bastards?
I don't think so. But Dunk says that he'd heard such talk before, and I had circled back on this to bring this up because I wanted to mention it to Kyle, and Kyle kind of finished it for me, which is great because Dunk thinks he'd heard talk before. Aegon the Unworthy had bedded half the maidens, and he says if half the talk was true, we'd all be bastard sons of Aegon the Fourth.
And Maynard says maybe we are, and he is.
Yeah, and Kyle's the one that even said that, finished that line for me, which is great.
And I think if Kyle knew. He probably doesn't even know that Bloodraven is Like, he probably knows he's a bastard, but maybe not Aegon the Fourth bastard, right? Like,
yeah, exactly. It's hard to, the family tree is complicated, exactly. And at one point, Dunk says, we're headed north to Winterfell. Lord Baron Stark's gathering swords to drive the Krakens from the shores for good. And Sir Maynard says, too cold up there for me. I think this is funny because
he ends up going even further.
Exactly, in the tree super north. So here, I brought this one up too. When Kyle the cat, not our Kyle, says the king's hand does nothing while the Kraken spread flame and terror. Sir Maynard gave a shrug. His eyes fixed on Tyrosh while Bittersteel sits in exile, plotting with the sons of Daemon Blackfire, so he keeps the king's ships close at hand, lest they attempt to cross.
Yeah.
So he's saying, this
is actually what we're doing.
What he's doing. Yeah, because it's me. This is what I'm doing.
But I'm actually here because I know you guys are fucking up.
Which
is weird.
But he's here for the Blackfire Rebellion, which is what basically he's saying. He's watching Bittersteel to make sure he doesn't send another pretender.
And the pretender
he saw
came.
him send a pretender, and he followed him, and now he's here for it, right? Yeah.
It's kind of confusing of Kyle the Cat's allegiance here because he's like motherfucking Bloodraven, but then he's also calling the Blackfires the traitors.
I think I had a note about that in my normal thing. We were going kind of quick, so I didn't hit them all. But I think that's a great point. Kyle he definitely plays both sides in that conversation, which I think is just kind of real, right? Like I feel like I do that. Like when I'm when I'm talking politics, I'll talk shit on the president sometimes and be like, that's not a bad idea.
We don't have a monarchy where it's treason to.
Well, one of the things Kyle says is a man could speak his mind in Daemon the second's time. Like you didn't have to worry about getting your head put on a spike or whatever. But
let it rip then.
All right. So Dunk says, I don't know if you caught this one when we were doing the podcast. Maybe when you read it too. When they're waiting for the ferry to cross, Dunk tells Egg to stay away from Maynard. There's something about Plum that troubled him. He might be a robber knight for all we know. And then the warning seemed to only interest Egg more. I've never knew a robber knight. Do you think he means to steal the dragon's egg? Lord Butterwell will have it well guarded. Do you remember what happens with the dragon's egg in this story?
Toss down the well.
The well. No, it does. So it goes missing, and they blame Glendon. I kind of want to leave some of it as a surprise for you, but you've already read it. So the point of view of the spoiler section is for you to know some of this. So I'm going to tell you some of it, but I'll try and leave some of it as a surprise.
I mean, once you tell me, I'll remember. It's just been a while.
It goes missing, and they blame it on Glendon.
Okay. They also didn't guard it, right? Like Dunk went right in and picked it up.
Well, yeah, but after that, there's guards on the outside of the door of the bedchamber, and the egg is on the inside of the bedchamber. But Doug does describe something about this bedchamber. We didn't mention it in the podcast, but he describes it in the chapter or in the book. There's a privy in the corner of the bedchamber. Somebody
dumped it down the poop shaft.
Well, the dwarves, I don't think it's ever confirmed, but Dunk runs into the dwarves in the second half, and they smell like a privy. And I think Bloodraven has it at the end, and he makes a comment about like, oh, even a troop of comic dwarves or something like that. So the implication is they climbed up the privy, stole it, climbed down the privy, one of the dwarves at least, and then Bloodraven has it. And then when they realize it's missing, they blame it on Glendon because basically they're paying people to throw the tourney so Jon will win, but Glendon isn't playing that game. He's trying to fucking win to prove he's Fireball's son. Yeah, so he won't do that. So they paint a rock fancily and put it in his saddlebags and blame him for stealing the egg
and kick him out of the jousty
and torture the fuck out of him and then make him joust against John the Fiddler at the end, kind of gladiator style, like Maximus all fucked up verse. That's kind of what happens there with the dragon egg. But I think this is cool because
Glenny Ball is actually Glenny Ball though. Like there's nothing weird about him.
We don't know. I mean, how will we know?
Okay.
No, I guess you don't remember this. His mom was a whore, right? So his story is I'm Glennon Ball.
Does he know that his mom's a whore?
Yeah, he grew up they call him the Knight of the Pussy Willows because the Pussy Willows is a brothel. He got knighted by a man because he sold his sister's maidenhead to him. He's like, you can sleep with my, kind of like what Pate was trying to buy Rosie's maidenhead for a golden dragon. Yeah. He's like, you can sleep with my maiden sister if you knight me. And again, we find out he's kind of like, he knows what he's doing, right? As far as being a knight.
He's balling a bit.
But like, it's kind of, again, that is kind of fucked up. So that's why when they call him a pussy, the Knight of the Pussy Willows, and like when he gets let in, it's because they're whispering in his ear. It's because they're telling them the real story of why, no, he is a knight. He got his fucking knighthood because sold his sister's maidenhood, and then that's why he's kind of embarrassed by it, but he does get let into the feast, and he doesn't like the name and everything. And I think we find out that his mom was called, I think Uther tells Dunk this, his mom was called Penny Jenny because she was a cheap whore, I guess, and a lot of men had her. And he's like, he was called Penny Jenny until the day of the Redgrass field. And then after that, she was called Redgrass Jenny, I guess, because she slept with so many people that day, and the implication is Glendon like kind of came from that because he says I was dead when my father died, but in him I live again. And Uther's like, I don't doubt that Fireball slept with her, but it's just like so many other guys, and I think that's kind of I think that's kind of the cool part about Glendon is like he doesn't have red hair like Fireball does. Like he doesn't seem to look like him, but like
that was just the most fired up the mom was about it. It was like,
yeah, I mean, I don't know. I'm the kind of guy who likes the idea that Jon is, I don't know, a fucking bastard, and he's not a secret Targaryen because that makes like him being a hero better. Like you don't need to come from a nice line to do good stuff. Like Dunk's a fucking nobody. Like we found out Dunk's a Targaryen.
Well, Fireball's not a Targaryen, is he?
No, but I mean, it's like like hero's blood. Like the whole he's like I have hero's blood. Like I think the point is you don't need hero's blood. You can
want
be
him
a
to
hero.
Be the start of a hero's blood.
Yeah, like Dunk, right? Like you don't need hero's blood to be a hero. You can just be a hero.
Dunk's a lunk.
So that's why I like Glendon. So I don't know, but I think it's an interesting character because that's definitely his deal. Last one, Lord Frey. This is when they're doing toasts. Lord Frey says, I give you the king's hand, Brendan Rivers. May the crone's lamp light his path to wisdom. He lifted his goblet high and drank, together with Lord Bedowell and his bride and the others on the dais. Below the salt, Sir Glendon turned his cup over to spill his contents on the floor. A sad waste of good wine, said Maynard Plum. So Glendon dumps his wine out. Plum's like, oh, waste of wine.
Yeah, well, fuck you too, dickhead.
Exactly, it's a toast to him.
You should have drank that wine for me.
Yep.
It's funny that Maynard just sat at the table and just observed. Like, he just sat there and observed the whole time.
Yeah. And then there's even the part, like, when it says, like, the Fellowship of the Hedges didn't survive the night. He like, mentions what everyone's doing, like, Glendon's brooding, Maynard's whispering with the innkeep, gossiping with the innkeep all morning, like, learning. That
was something that you skipped over that, a lot of that morning stuff. It was, like, notes that I had, like, Maynard whispering with the innkeep, like, has to be like, hey, you better ferry over this army pretty fucking quick, right? Like, or
oh, that's true. Like, yeah, when they're coming. I thought it was more just like 1,000 eyes in one. Like Varys would be talking to the innkeep if he's going through, like getting information.
On the payroll. Like, hey, who all have you seen? Type of thing.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
what sigils have? Yeah, that makes sense.
Send the information my way. Like, tell me what you know already. Maybe greasing some palms to send some information coming forward, but. Yeah, that's all I got. I wrote down a few things about like hints that Jon the Fiddler of who he is, but we can mention them later. I think some of those Bloodraven ones maybe we can mention, but again, like some of them, like it's too cold for me is like
you're saying to Kyle in the next part, okay?
Because Kyle hasn't seen him in the real books yet, so he doesn't know more about him than the rumors, right? So
right. He doesn't know he's in a tree yet, or
yeah. I was wondering if, like, I guess some of them, like, if we can hint that it is him. I don't know. It's hard. I think it's hard till after dance, but I think this is one of the coolest rereads after you know it's Maynard Plum. So
yeah,
and even in the next part, like, so now that you know that again, just keep an eye out for that again in the second part. But yeah, that's all I got. All right. Damn, we went even long on the spoiler section. Damn.
Yeah, we bullshitted though, but
yeah, and I love Dunk, so it's worth it. But we'll see you guys in the next one, part 2.
All right, bye.
Bye.